Oh god, did I even turn my microphone on? I did! Yeah, the microphone's on! Gentlemen, me again. How's it going, boys? Good evening. Good evening, one and all. Are you ready to do a stream about women? Women. Can't live with them. Can't live without them. I mean, you can live without them, actually. It's quite peaceful without women, but eventually at some point... so eventually at some point you need the attention of the female. I'm not one of those people who thinks that... Hang on, let me turn my headphones off. Yeah, we need to continue the human race, so at some point some of us do need a female within which to breed with. Hey, Lion. Hey, Ross. How's it going, buddy? Your milkshake doesn't bring all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours. Damn right. It's better than yours, I can teach you, but I have to charge. You know, just before I started the stream at the moment, I was watching the old potion seller video, and that's such a fucking classic. I love that video so much. You know, the one that's like, potion seller, I'm going into battle, and I require your strongest potions. You can't handle my strongest potions, traveler. They'll kill you. Potion seller? And enough of these games. I tell you, I'm going into battle, and I require your strongest potions. Why respect knights when my potions can do anything that you can? Hey, Red Glass. Hey, Sharon. How's it going, boys? How are you all doing this evening? How's the music to speech volume, by the way? Is the music too loud? Is the setting volumes quite good? I still haven't. I've been a streamer now for 5 months. I still can't be fucked to get a proper technical setup. Also, I haven't shown you before as well. Look, I can lean in. Look at this. Look, lean in. That's cool. Actually, is it leaning in? Yeah, it is. Yeah, look at that. That's amazing. Not very. I didn't see very many VTubers who like lean with like the lean physics in. It's good fun. Good. I can also do the puffy cheeks. Look. I'm not gay. So yeah, let's get on with today's stream. So the too long didn't read of the whole stream for today, boys, is if you want a girlfriend, right, wife, whatever, you have to go outside and speak to one, I'm afraid. Unfortunately, unless you want to do a Christian, you have to go outside and actually meet with women and do something to secure a mate. Unfortunately, a cat girl who will lick your balls and call you Go Shijin Sama will not materialize out of thin air and provide you with several heirs, I'm afraid. Hey, Traven, nothing on AliExpress. Why not? I know, why not, right? If things continue the way they are, especially in Japan, maybe we'll get state-mandated cat girlfriends. That'd be based, wouldn't it? I think the lean is pretty new as far as features go. I'm not sure, actually. I'll have to ask Whimsy later. I think it's just a feature no one's really bothered with before, but there's so much potential with lean. I can lean back and forwards. It's all good fun. Hey, Seven. Yeah, coffee emoji. Women, eh? Women are retarded, but women are cool at the same time. No, I mean, why are you not gay yet, at least by your words? What do you mean I'm not gay yet? Are you one of those 4chan groomers, Furlough? Are you trying to get me in your fucking, like, femboy dungeon? Not that we believe you because you're British. But we British people, we sound homosexual, right? But we're not homosexual. There's a difference. Well, I think some of us sound pretty cool. I mean, I'll fight you on this, Furlough. I think a lot of the voice actors of Final Fantasy 16 are from Bristol. I'm not from Bristol, but I'm from the same, what Americans would call, I'm from the same state as people from Bristol, right? So I've got that, with Final Fantasy 16, I've got that effect where it's like, it's very rare that people from my state in the UK are in like movies, TVs and gaming and voice acting and stuff. So when I see Final Fantasy 16 of all these people who are from my state, I'm like, hell yeah. Yeah, represent, boys. It's my state. They're like, all right, my love. Oh, bloody hell, it's the protagonist. Bloody hell, you've come to kill those come to kill that Ifrit, have ya? Oh, bloody hell, it's from Bristol. You're right, my love. I'm from the bloody West Country, and I. Yeah, bloody hell. Hey, Ninja Muffin, how you doing, my friend? How are you doing? So yeah, As I was saying, guys, unfortunately, a cat girl who's going to lick your balls and call you Goshijin Sama will not materialize out of thin air. You have to go out and actually find your girlfriend. So I'm going to start off with explaining how women work, and feel free to chime in and encourage me to tangent on stuff as well. That's always good fun. Always like making up shit on the spot. It's always good fun. So rule number 1 about women, boys, okay? So if you're looking for love, if you're looking for a woman, you don't understand how women work. Women are human beings. No, seriously, don't laugh. Okay, don't laugh. Women are human beings. And like men, women have some universal truths. They have some consistent natural behaviors and instincts. And they all have different tastes and preferences, and that's okay, all right? No way. Well, I know it is shocking. We are actually, right? But we are all human beings, okay? I like the married with children quote, women understand each other and they hate each other. They do. There was a great thread on 4chan a couple months ago where it was Lumi, right? Someone had made a thread on Kanako Lumi, and they said, why the fuck is this bitch popular, right? All she does is make stupid comments and then makes these weird squeaking, like laughing noises. Like, why is this popular? And the very first comment to this thread was, a woman's hand wrote this. A woman's hand wrote these words, right? And it's so true. It's so true. Women, if there's one thing that pisses women off more than not having the richest man in the room, it's like watching other women have the richest man in the room, right? They do not play nice together. Yeah, women are human since they can wrestle. Hey, clobbering time. Yeah, about that that women's mud wrestling thing. Approve. We need to get it in the Olympics immediately. Imagine bad mouthing our precious tarred lemon. I know. When the Phase documentary is released, I've got like a whole I'm just gonna spend like 2 minutes of Lumi's overview, just like shit talking Lumi for good fun. There, I don't actually mean it. Obviously, I'm memeing, but yeah, Lumi's such a sweetheart. I love Lumi. Where was I anyway? Yeah, when it comes to women, right, and it comes to speaking to women, important to remember, as Captain Picard once said, you can do everything right and still lose, okay? So try not to take reaction too hard. There could be absolutely nothing wrong with you, and you can still lose because obviously people have their preferences. And contrary to what the manosphere says, you don't have to be some 8 out of 10 gigachad to secure a woman. Some women may enjoy getting railed, but I love that word, by the way. Some women may enjoy getting railed by the high status value male, but again, it's important to remember, most women don't respect these kinds of men, and fewer want to seriously pursue like a genuine love-filled relationship. And you don't want these women either. So, you know, you've got these women who are like, ew, oh my god, I want a guy who's like 6'6". I don't understand why so many like guys get really upset at these kinds of women rejecting them and like shit talking them. These kinds of women, they're basically doing you a favor, right? They're filtering themselves out, man. If you're like a really short guy, maybe you're ugly, not very well off, combination of many of those things. There's always something you can do to boost your attractiveness profile to kind of mitigate these circumstances. Obviously, you can't do anything about being really short, unfortunately, but what you can do, right, is you can get fit, get strong and athletic, you can try to get a promotion, you can, you know, get a high status job, you could go traveling, have some kind of interesting hobby, you know, build a personality. Get some life experiences to impress women with. Going up to a woman and being like, hey, I like anime, I like gaming, and I'm just a really nice guy. And by nice guy, I mean I'm a meek, timid pushover. Doesn't matter how attractive you are, you're probably not going to be able to retain a girlfriend long because they're going to get sick of you. Oh, is this mansplaining or womansplaining? It's mansplaining. I'm not a girl, I'm not a femboy, right? It would be better than the breakdancing. God, break dancing was absolutely tragic. I mean, I saw the clip of the woman doing like a comical bad guy tiptoe from like Lazy Town or something, right? Also, Fish Quest analyzed video when. I don't know what that is actually, Furlough. I must be missing something really obvious there. I'll have to Google that later, and I'll do an analyze video on it if you want. Yeah, we can do that. So women are the Kobayashi Maru test. that is exactly what women are in a nutshell. Yeah, women are the Kobayashi Maru test. Absolutely. You know, by the way, just on the subject quickly of Star Trek, right? I mean, this is a negative 1,000 charisma and attractiveness already. I just want to say on the subject of Star Trek, I used to hate Star Trek when I was a kid. I was more of a Star Wars guy, and then I got into 40k later, and then I thought Star Wars was shit once I was into 40k. And I really love, now that I'm it must be like an old man thing. Now I'm a miserable, boring old man. I fucking love Star Trek now. Not a big fan of the whole space communism thing they got going on, but yeah, there's just nothing I love more than a bunch of like space intellect, like a bunch of space academics waxing lyrical about philosophy and just standing around and talking about, you know, leadership, philosophy, and like command and leadership and stuff. I just love it. I always love it when Picard's like giving a lecture to Data on what it means to be, you know, on what leadership and command means. I love that episode where Data's in like command of the Enterprise, and he dresses down Worf for Worf's we're supposed to be talking about women. We're supposed to be talking about how to attract women. We're going on a tangent about fucking Star Trek. Oh hell yeah! Actually, you know what? Let's not bother talking about women. Let's just talk about Star Trek. You know what, actually, let's do a stream on Star Trek later in the week. I want to gush about Star Trek. I'm like fucking Mike Stoklaska, right? We're just gonna be talking about Star Trek for fucking 4 hours. But yeah, I love that episode of Star Trek where Data has his little tiff with Worf and takes command of the Enterprise, and Worf's always like, finally, it's about time. And Captain Picard wouldn't do that. And then I genuinely think the dressing down that Data gives Worf is one of the finest displays of management and leadership I've ever seen, especially in media. You know, we take a look at how leadership and management is portrayed in like Hollywood and TV these days, and it's always girl bossing, or it's like toxic as fuck, you know, piece of shit male bossing, where it's the alpha male or the alpha woman basically, you know, browbeating, shaming, and like humiliating the subordinates. But yeah, in Star Trek, obviously, when Data gives Worf the dressing down, he makes a point that Mr. Worf's conduct is unacceptable, and it's not unacceptable because he's challenging he's questioning and challenging the decisions that Data's making as captain. It's the fact that he's undermining his authority publicly. You don't challenge people of higher rank in public and like have a shit flinging contest with them. If you have a grievance with someone, if you're questioning someone's authority to lead you, you raise your concerns in private in the background. Otherwise, it leads to anarchy, it leads to chaos, and it can lead to a lack of respect on both sides. And when obviously Data handles the situation with Worf very smoothly, very calmly, and explains in detail exactly what his problems with Mr. Worf is, and then he manages to resolve the situation amicably. And then he does his little shirt tuck in afterwards because he feels all proud of himself. Hell yeah, fucking a great TV show, Star Trek it can be. We kill Worf for his authoritarian streak. Well, I mean, he is a Klingon. We can thank Asimov for introducing boring politics and stilted dialogue to sci-fi. Yeah, I mean, I quite like Asimov. I actually like the boring politics and stilted dialogue into sci-fi these days. I fucking love the politics scenes in Star Wars. Let's talk about Lex, not Star Trek. There, let's try to talk about women. I really like Deep Space Nine as well, actually, Trabant. I liked watching Deep Space Nine, where it goes about the small stories, never really bothered with much of the rest. Yeah, Deep Space Nine is really underrated, I think. It's a bit of a cult classic. People who like Deep Space Nine are really into it, I find, but it's not. I don't think it's particularly widespread popular. Saying I'm a weeb works better for me as a pickup line than saying I'm in the military or a handyman contractor at my college. Yeah, I don't know how it is for you, Aram, but yeah, people in the military are really looked down upon in British society. Like, if you went to a college and said you were in the army, particularly if you were infantry, they like the average person in there would call you a retard and say, why the fuck do you want to like go around getting involved in wars and getting yourself blown up? So yeah, it's actually a massive anti-pussy magnet being in the military in the UK. Deep Space Nine, baby! Hell yeah. Where the fuck was I? Yeah, anyway, we just mentioned about debunking the manosphere myth about having to be 6'6" to achieve a female. It's not true, right? So that's rule one of women, okay? The rule one of women is that they are in fact human beings, and just like any human being, they have their own tastes and preferences. Don't feel down about being rejected. It genuinely might not be you. It's just their taste. And we'll get onto handling rejection and how to approach women a little bit later. Oh Christ, we're going on. Hey, Pablo. Best calling on the carpet in modern movie TV is Captain Aubrey talking to his senior midshipman in Master and Commander. Phenomenal. Oh God, I'm really tempted to make like a 4-hour-long video essay on Master and Commander. That's one of my favorite movies. It's so fucking good, Master and Commander. It's absolutely criminal how that movie hasn't had a sequel, or the entire book series hasn't been adapted to like movie or TV. It's so good. Mr. Hollum. I was like Mr. Hollum at one point when I first took a command, when I had my first command, when I had my first charge. I was exactly like Mr. Hollum. And then I actually took the advice from Master and Commander to eventually improve myself and improve my ability to rally the morale and inspire my team to achieve the goals of the organization, right? Dan Simmons. I'm not too familiar with Dan Simmons, actually. I have to check him out. I think everyone knows, obviously, Isaac Asimov. Garak is an amazing... It's fucking we turned into a goddamn Star Trek stream. I was about to say that on the flip side, if you're in the military, you're going to attract a trad wife, but then I remembered, maybe not though. Yeah, you're probably not going to attract a trad wife, and yeah, it's it's the military and being in a relationship like a marriage tends to not go down so well. Many an officer's wife, many an enlisted man's wife has obviously run off with one of the other enlisted men, or they've run off with some civvy, right? Probably best to have long-term relationships once you're out. Once you're out, the mob tends to be the best time. Yeah, people think you're stupid if you're a soldier. Yeah, which is really crazy, honestly. I think being in the military tends to make people think within kind of like the paradigms of that structure. It tends to be like very rigid and lacking in creativity. But at the same time, due to lack of resources, shocking logistics, and general fuckaboutery, I tend to find most people in the military are quite resourceful and are also quite good at, what's the word, kind of, that people in the military tend to be very kind of good at, God, I can't even think of the word now, adapting to situations and kind of like making do with not having all the tools to hand. People think you're inbred if you're a Marine. Oh yeah, they think you're a crayon-eating jarhead, right? Oh, the classic. It's Tommy that. Yeah, you know your poetry. You know your poetry. Oh, it's the classic Tommy this and Tommy that and Tommy how's your soul? But it's thank you, Mr. Atkins, when the drums begin to roll. Yes, some things never change. Prior to the whole war in Ukraine stuff, it was always like oh, if you're in the military, you're a thick, useless fucking twat who can't get a real job, or you're of low value to society. And now that the British government's trying to essentially get a grasp on the attitude for conscription, everyone's like, yeah, join the military, oh, bloody heroes, go deploy to Europe and get in the land war of Russia. Yeah, you're like a bally hero. Yeah, the General Malchit effect. Well then, Blackadder. Are you ready to get on the front line and give those revolting Frenchies a damn good licking? No, sir. It's the Germans we should be licking. Don't be revolting, darling. I wouldn't lick a German if he was glazed in honey. Get her down, right? Hell yeah. What the fuck is this stream going? Anyway, let's get on with it. So, the rule 2 with women, don't expect them to paint a picture of the context. So what I mean by that is women communicate in a very weird way, and if you can't gather like the context and underlying meaning for yourself of what a woman is trying to say to you, then you're going to severely jar them. So women expect like small clarifying questions when they speak to you, but if you ask them to explain the whole meaning behind an interaction, then you'll lose points of them, right? So it's important to remember that when you're speaking to women, they don't say what they mean, and they expect you to be continuously reading into the true meaning of what they're saying. So women don't really switch their brain off, and they're not really a direct peoples. You always have to be reading into their body language, the tone in which they speak, and trying to understand exactly why a woman is saying that, saying the things she is. So we'll get onto this a little bit later, but one of the most important things to kind of retain a woman and gain her respect is it's about not doing what you're told, and it's not about appeasing her. It's about genuinely wanting to do something for the sake of the relationship and to make her happy. Hey, Backslash, I said that at the beginning of the stream. Can't live without them, can't live with them, can't live without them. That's absolutely right, absolutely right. Getting the mission done, that's what your experienced military guys are good at. Other stuff varies wildly. Yeah, it depends. Obviously the recon guys, the scouts, tend to be quite good at getting into mischief, particularly if you leave the average rifleman alone with nothing to do for more than about 2 hours. They tend to go a bit mental. Hey, Tempest, speaking of which, we have a very lovely woman in the audience right now. Women tell a story when they talk, men give you a list of facts. Yeah, exactly, that's well said, Tempest. Tempest, feel free to help me out with today's stream as well. Put some stuff in the comment section to help the guys understand women. Yeah, a comprehension test, pretty much, yeah. Women expect complete attention and comprehension at all times, and they get really upset when you're not following them. Army hires in the prison to send them to meat shields in the front. Yeah, I've been hearing about that a lot, Furlough. I've been hearing about that there's apparently big food inflation in Russia at the moment. I hope you guys, I hope that things don't go too bad for you guys, and that you can, continue to live your lives, without as much suffering as possible. I hope these hostilities in Europe can end in a good way, and that people on both sides don't have to suffer anymore soon. Hey, Zero, how's it going, buddy? Oh, how's it going, mate? How's it going, Zero? You bloody Ripper legend. Get the bloody stubbies in for Zero, boys. Women are human. Rule number 2, women employ doublespeak. Yeah, that's basically where we're at the moment. Rule 1, women are human. Rule 2, women employ doublespeak. It's really crazy what lengths they go to not state exactly what they mean. It's kind of like Yes Minister. You got that guy, what's his name, the Undersecretary, Bernard, like Bernard from Yes Minister. They take 2 minutes to say something they could have said in 5 seconds with much more clarity. I am a woman and I don't understand women quite well. I stopped dating women because they make me nuts. I can see why you'd, based on those experiences, I can see why you'd marry Belgium. I'm not gay and I'd marry Belgium. Guys, hilarious. I fucking love Belgium. You know it's a good relationship when the person she's complaining about isn't you or your family. Yeah, exactly. Miserable. What is a man? What is a man? A miserable pile of secrets. I'm taking notes. Need to learn how women work. Well, I don't know, Zero. I don't think I'll be able to provide you much help on how Sheilas work. Sheilas are a completely different breed of woman. Although that said, I'm quite fond of the Australian female accent. If I were to rate female accents, whatever accent Lumi has, number 1, right? Lumi Kaneko, top tier accent. And then second is French, and then third, Australian. Italian's pretty hot as well. I like Italian women. No homo, but favourite Brit right here. Give me kisses, Belgium. I love you, my lovely man. Not to sound like a dick, but sometimes women just want to complain about something and want men to listen to them without asking for a solution, since you already know how to solve the issue. Yeah, actually, that's going to be our very next point, Ninja Muffin. So, rule... actually, is it... which rule did I put this in? Yeah, I put it in rule number 4. It's not the next topic. This is rule number 4. We're going to go to rule number 3 now, okay? Cha! chat, you know, Lumi does make me laugh. Every time Lumi talks about school, she has to. Every single time Lumi talks about school, she has to mention how she was prettier than the other girl who was somehow involved in the story. The girl, another girl might not even be involved in the story, but she has to mention how she was prettier than the other girl. Always makes me laugh. She's like, yeah, so like when I was in high school, I was blah, 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 and there was this other girl and I was prettier than her, but anyway, it's like, thank you, Lumi. I don't know why we needed to know that, but okay. Anyway, rule number 3 about women. Don't stop, slow, or cause them to repeat. Even if you don't understand what the fuck women are going on about, and you probably don't understand what the fuck the woman's going on about, just do anything to make her think that you're listening and following along, even if you just have to make noises. Right, I reached a point with my ex, right, where I didn't even take my headphones off when she was going off on one. I just nod my head and yep, no, I absolutely agree. Do you think, what do you think? Do you think I was in the wrong? No, you're right. No, absolutely. Yep. Right. Lumi is a Polish femboy, by the way. I wouldn't actually be surprised if it turned out that Lumi genuinely was like a femboy or something. South African. Oh, you know, I haven't heard much South African women talk, you know. Are you talking about like Afrikaans women, I guess? Is Charlize Theron, is she South African? Unless she can speak Afrikaans. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, do the Joe Rogan thing, right? Do that Joe Rogan podcast thing where he pretends to be really interested in the other person's story and he's like, whoa, that's crazy. Hey, have you ever tried DMT? My small brain can't comprehend and needs to give a solution. Yeah, I'm exactly the same way, Ninja Muffin. Women really annoy me about how they basically just want you to listen and empathize with them, and I'm like, look, we have the same conversation, it seems, every week. I've got a solution to your problem. Follow my fucking solution, and then you'll stop annoying me with your dumbass complaint. Just tackle the problem at its source, and you'll stop stressing yourself out, right? I don't understand how laughs like Pippa and Lumi are real. They're almost certainly not. I'm convinced those aren't. I'm tempted to make a video on this, right? A VTuber's laugh is one of the most important and powerful marketing techniques that they can use. A VTuber's laugh is iconic, right? So I think that Lumi and Pippa put on the laugh to, it really like solidifies their brand. I don't think many of these VTubers in real life genuinely laugh as much or in the weird way that they do. It is, they understand it's a big part of the brand. You can immediately recognize Pippa from a schizo, like seagull laughs, and Lumi's weird high-pitched squeaks. I mean, Lumi didn't used to do that high-pitched squeaking in her laugh. She used to laugh quite normally, actually. But anyway, we're going on another tangent. My laugh is, hey, thank you very much for joining the Gentleman Pavely, my friend. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Hello. Thank you. Used to be mates with someone from South Africa. He had some stories to tell, I can imagine. Rhodesia in South Africa, based, by the way. I'm from Rhodesia. Don't we say Zimbabwe? Do we? Pippa's windshield wiper laugh. A lot of VTubers have windshield wiper laughs, actually, don't they? I quite like the windshield wiper laughs. I like Pippa's one a lot because it lends very well to her going on some kind of like ego-fueled rant, right? When Pippa does a laugh, it's not like a Lumi's. It's a. I can't do it. My voice is too deep. But you know what I mean. Anyone that loves Master and Commander deserves a membership. Hell yeah. Oh god. I love like old novels about ships and like 18th century, early 19th century, you know, men at war. I love that shit so much. I really love Sharp as well. I love the Hornblower series. Have you guys watched Hornblower? Bloody love Mr. Hornblower. Mr. Hornblower! Got fucking what's his face from My Family. GD, are you still here? What's that guy's name? The captain. He plays like the dad in My Family. What's his name? I love that guy. He's great. Mr. Hornblower! Mr. Hornblower, sir! I demand to know what you're doing at once! Good old. Well, I just love those stories about mentorship, right? about an authoritative, kindly, gentle older man who's also got a stern hand, who is like guiding the young officer, the young like 20-year-old man into becoming, you know, like the ideal strong, adventurous hero. I love that shit. Wooden ships and Iron Man. Robert Lindsay, that's it. Thank you, GD. Robert Lindsay. Bloody love that man. Good voice, good actor, good voice on him. Robert Lindsay. When the high-pitched four-letter word streamer came super deep when laughing, yeah. These can spend 6 months before debuting laugh training. That's probably... Every VTuber should have their own laugh, right? They should have their own iconic laugh. I think a VTuber's... An iconic laugh is much more important than having like these weird kind of insignia, like icon things. I think like the state of VTuber branding is terrible. They've got this... Basically, their branding is just their name in some kind of weird font and maybe one or two like decorations on it, which isn't recognizable at all. I don't even notice it's there. They should really like do what the McDonald's and the big companies do and just have, you know, some kind of like iconic shape or caricature that summarizes them, instead of just having their name in you know, in a weird graphic design font. Anyway, let's actually go back to talking about women instead of fucking Star Trek and Hornblower and fucking Master and Commander. Actually, this has been really helpful. I'm definitely going to have to do a stream on like old classic literature on stuff like Hornblower and Master and Commander and stuff now. You can be a bunch of like just a bunch of old boring men talking about wooden ships and cannons and pike and shot and shit. Hell yeah, that sounds so much fun. Maybe next stream we'll talk about Master and Commander. No, can I do a... How does Russell Crowe talk? He's like... Russell Crowe, he's got a lot of compression in his voice, Russell Crowe, but he sounds very posh at the same time. He's like, we should beat to quarters, but he sounds very jovial, doesn't he, Russell Crowe? Very jovial chap. Mr. Hollum, take her a bridge, sir. Where the fuck was I? Hey, hero, how's it going, buddy? We have a collection of One Piece laughs for YouTubers, yeah. Symbolism is pretty strong. Symbolism is very strong. Bernard Cromwell sales go stonks. Yeah, you know, is he still alive? I'm gonna see if I can hit Bernard Cromwell up and do a fucking like interview on him. On my signal, unleash hell. Wait, wrong film. What does he say? He says, let fly. Okay, anyway, rule four. Yeah, as we were mentioning earlier, right? Women don't want an audience. Women want an audience, right? They don't want a fix. So when you're speaking to women, if you've managed to acquire a girl, or you're dating a girl, right? You're trying to woo the fair maiden. So women want to display, and they want to be witnessed carrying a burden, right? They want people to feel sorry for them. Women want to feel sorry for themselves. So what women do is they'll do this softly by bringing up topics in normal conversation, or they'll do this more candidly by kind of blurting out direct and probably some kind of crappy statement, right? They tend to lie a lot, right? They'll explain how at home they do like all the cooking and cleaning, or they do all this stuff so that people feel sorry for them, and then it turns out that the reason why they do everything themselves is because people do offer to help, people try to help, but then they refuse any help and they tell the person to like fuck off and not help them, just so they can feel sorry for themselves later and feel all hard done by, right? So women are... What was rule 3? Oh shit, did I miss rule 3? I'll go back to rule 3 in a minute. The way women do this, right, it depends on their emotional resilience and their level of exhaustion, right? So basically telling a girl what she needs to do to fix something she doesn't want that from you, right? She wants empathy and understanding, and understandably, as men, they're not going to get it, right? Because their problems are stupid and weird, and they're normally women are normally the architect of their own misery. So you don't... Hey, Slices of Lemons, good afternoon, my friend. How are you? So, yeah, you don't actually have to be empathetic and understanding of a woman's position, guys. Just pretend that you are, and it's very easy because they're just looking for affirmation and not looking for a fix. That also means that they don't actually genuinely want any kind of feedback from you. So it's very easy to pretend that you do in fact care and are listening to them, right? right? There's a good lesson for you on how to deal with excessively yapping women who constantly need validation. So what was rule 3? Rule number 3, I got into rule number 3 a little bit, was about how not to stop, slow, or cause them to repeat. So if women run off the flow of a conversation, they go into yapping mode, basically. If a woman goes into Iy, Lumi, or Clara mode, you absolutely, under no circumstances, do stop, slow, or cause them to repeat, or they suffer dissonance and discomfort. It causes them to blue screen, right? They crash. Women crash the desktop when you interrupt them when they're going on a tangent. So what you can do is you can bring up topics or ideas in new and varied ways, but don't push it. Try to gently get them back on track, or try to get them to talk about something that's actually relevant and kind of makes sense to what's going on. But don't fully stop them. They get real mad really quick. Hey, not the ATF. How's it going, buddy? Yeah, they go a bit crazy. How's it going, ATF? Crazy. Just off on a random tangent. Not the ATF. I watch quite a few VTubers, and I lurk in a lot of chats, and I see you in a lot of the same chats that I watch. Of VTubers I watch as well. Not the ATF. I think I've seen you in. I saw you in what's her face? IOU's chat. I think I've seen you in Ami and Mummy's chat. I've seen you in other chats as well. I see you everywhere. Not Clara modes. Yeah. Getting Clara and Iy together, by the way, in like a podcast kind of chat thing. Genius idea. It's something I'm going to bring up in the Chisaka Iy video that I've kind of put on the shelf for 4 months now. But I think it goes to show you how much of an underdog and how much of a genius, how actually really talented that Iy is, that she came up with that idea and really pushed for it. Ivy's very much hidden talent. I have a lot of respect for that person. Hey Felix, how's it going, buddy? What have you missed? You've missed an awful lot of tangenting about Star Trek, Master and Commander, and Hornblower, and just old 19th century European war films. We haven't actually said that much about women yet. We've gone on a lot of old man tangents. I grew up around men, so I adapted to speak to men in a way that they understand. It makes me very blunt and tactless in conversation with women. Yeah, that's the thing. That tends to be a lot of case with women who grew up with a lot of brothers or in a male-dominant family, is that they tend to be very good at understanding how to speak to men and how to not communicate in that weird, indirect female way. Hey, doing pretty good? Yeah, good to hear it. Yeah, I get around a lot. Well, yeah, we all should. We shouldn't. I mean, where possible, we shouldn't really try to like settle in the same 1 or 2 VTubers. It's always good to have a shop around and see what other VTubers are out there, right? I'm working at a lab with over 10 female co-workers. Everything you said just perfectly fits how daily situation is there. They have about 10 topics in about a whole 5 minutes. Yeah, it is. It's crazy how quickly women can tangent and move on one point from the next. I'm not a morning person, right? Until about 12 o'clock in the afternoon, I don't want anyone to speak to me. And unfortunately, I am in my place of work. I have there's like this very energetic, sprightly 25-year-old girl. And she doesn't get the message either. She does not shut the fuck up when she comes in like half an hour after me in the morning. Just goes on. She's like, "How was your weekend? How was your day? What were we up to last night? Oh, I watched this thing yesterday. I was watching Fallout last night. Do you watch Fallout? Oh yeah, I really like this Fallout thing. Cause oh yeah. And anyway, have you ever played Uncharted before? I've never. You're a gamer, right? You like Uncharted. I was watching the Uncharted movie, and and it's like, oh my god, for fuck's sake, shut the fuck up and just let me get on with my work, please. For God's sake, shut up." I got 30 seconds before my brain resets, so I tell people to get to the point. I wish I could be as direct as that. I'm not quite as direct as that. I just make it very clear that I've lost interest. Right? I just basically start grunting to indicate my lack of desire to continue the conversation. I've been in both mixed sex and male-only aviation units. The difference is like night and day. It has some grim implications for the future, sadly. Yeah, it does. I was in an engineering company when I was in Pavlo, and there's a lot of sexism, unfortunately, that takes place in the British Army. So I remember I remember on many occasions watching the male engineers have to carry, you know, like heavy armor plated doors that weigh about 50-60 pounds or whatever, you know, carrying the you know, like lifting the fuel drums, you know, carrying all the heavy equipment. And normally these duties would be split between 4 to 6 guys, but there are like 2 or 3 women in the squad, and basically the 2-3 women are allowed to just sit it out, and the men either have to make do with half the team size, or they pull double duty basically. So the 3 guys, maybe the other 3 to 4 guys who have done their bit, maybe they've stuck the door back on the Warrior IFV. They then have to, instead of like having their break, they then have to come and help the rest of the guys put the door on their IFV, whilst the women just kind of stand there and eat a packet of Maltesers, which is sad, unfortunately. But that's where again, I'm not against women having certain roles in the military, but yeah, it leads to an unfair situation, DEI, particularly when it comes to heavy lifting, which is unfortunate. But yeah, Fallout, man, I have things to say. Fallout looked terrible, honestly. I haven't watched Fallout. I don't know if it is any good. Hey, background noise. How's it going, buddy? Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you, lunatic. Yeah, we're talking about women. Oh my god, there's so many people watching the stream today. I guess the title really did, just woman coffee emoji, really attracts people's attention. I'm a bearded, oh my god, 6'3", bearded 300-pound man. I just frown and growl and the office ladies run away. That's great. That's good. I mean, I imagine some women are into that though, right? Some women love a good grizzly bear of a man. Wait, the women aren't required to do manual labor? No, they're not. Actually, they're not. The women don't have to do manual labor. We just stick it on the poor privates and lance corporals. The poor lance jacks have to pick up the slack, sadly. To be fair though, right? Most women have, I find, most women have the sense of shame to make it up to the boys, right? So what they'll do is, in exchange for the boys doing the work for them, they'll feel really bad about it, and they'll like buy the boys dinner. They'll buy them something from the Naffy bar. They'll buy them, like, you know, they'll like buy them some sweets and chocolates or some goodies and something. Unfortunately, as the years were going by, I was starting to notice more and more women just expected the poor lance corporals to do everything for them, and they just took that as, you know, for granted basically. So they wouldn't even, the guys wouldn't even get so much as a thank you, no chockies, nothing, and that always kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But yeah, unfortunately, you don't upset the apple cart, otherwise you don't get promoted, sadly. One of my favorite moments in my aviation unit was when several aviators, oh my god, OD'd on caffeine. Okay, that's not so bad. And the medics had to resuscitate them. Fucking hell. Were they sleep deprived or something? Were they overworked? I was an engineering officer. I wasn't in aviation. I was attached to an armoured battalion, which is a shame, really. I actually wanted to work on the Apaches, but yeah, I spent my time as an officer as Grease Monkeys, working on Challies and Warrior IFEs. Very boring job, unfortunately. A lot of people don't realise this, but a lot of enlisted engineers in units like the REME and the Royal Engineers, for example, actually have university degrees, and they do them in service, and those guys actually do like the interesting hands-on stuff. Whereas when you're at officer rank, you just spend a lot of time in an office just communicating with people, and having more senior officers basically scream at you. It begins when a tank or an IFE breaks, right? What tends to happen is, in the first instance, the major or the colonel of the regiment battalion will approach you, and he'll be all nice and cozy with you, because he obviously wants to get on your good side, so he'll fix his armor up nice and quick. And then inevitably what happens is, due to a shortage of manpower, just a shortage of parts, logistical issues, and just sheer unrealistic expectations, if a poor corporal drives his tank off a bridge and does some very serious fucking damage to it, we're not going to be able to fix it in 2 weeks for his little exercise he's got planned in about 2 months' time. So what happens is, to begin with, he calls you by your first name, right? He'll call you Maulington, And then about 4 weeks later, when his tank still isn't fixed, instead of calling you by your name, he starts calling you engineer, right? And he's normally, or eventually he reaches the point where he just calls you you. It's like, oi, you, engineer, get a move on, engineer. And it's like, okay, I'm trying, man. All right, cut me some slack. But anyway, rule number 3: don't interrupt women when they're going on massive tangents. Okay, so rule number 5. So what is rule number 5? Women are never doing or thinking nothing. I think as we're almost all of us here are guys, right? We're all guys here, except Tempest. Thinking absolutely nothing, just having a completely blank mind, is something that we probably spend 95% of the day doing when we're out of work, right? Women are absolutely incapable of having nothing going on in their brains, and they absolutely refuse to believe that we're capable of having absolutely nothing going on in the brain. I've lost track of how many times I've just sat there gormlessly staring into nothing and maybe fantasizing about what I would do if a bunch of like fucking cyborg ninjas or like zombies or like the fucking Russians, like the Russian paratroopers kicked the door into my office and like started shooting up the place, right? And that's basically all that's going on in my head. I'm just planning on what my escape plan would be if the fucking VDV came crashing through my windows, right? And women all the time, they're like, so what are you thinking about then? What's going on in that head of yours? I'm like, nothing. Just thinking about what I do to escape the Russians. They just don't get it, right? They just don't understand that our brains do that. Doesn't have to be the Russians. It can be the Chinese. It could be the Chinese. It could be the CIA. It could be the ATF. It could be Jeffrey Dahmer coming back from the grave. I don't know. Oh, it's Nadia here. Hey, Nadia. How's it going, Nadia? Hey, Aloxus. Hey, Nadia. How you boys doing? I haven't heard a single member of the armed forces in the maintenance unit that doesn't think they're under strength. Is recruiting that bad? Yeah, it is. Recruiting's really. It's not just recruiting. Retention's really bad as well, because no one likes mechanics and engineers in the military. Everyone treats you like shit. Even your own guys and girls treat you like shit and stab you in the back as well. It's very bitchy. You have to take into account is that the military will spend ungodly amounts of taxpayers' money uplifting a private soldier from being a fuckstick with no qualifications, and they will actually like fund for you to go to university, get an engineering degree, and become a highly qualified someone who could quite easily transition to being a civil, mechanical, or electrical engineer in Civvy Street. But then what you have to remember is that these guys, by the end of their trade training, they'll be corporals, and then they'll very quickly get promoted to sergeant. So sergeants don't get paid very much. So the problem with the military is, particularly in the technical fields, is that you spend all this money to turn your people into highly skilled, highly educated professionals, but then you pay them lower enlisted wages, and it's like, well, they're not going to want to stick around, are they? They're going to fuck off once they don't have to pay that stuff back anymore. Because why would they stay in a organization that severely restricts their freedoms and they get treated like shit and they get paid like shit? It's particularly when we kind of live in an age now where like patriotism and the idea of self-sacrifice for your country and culture is at an all-time low due to how poorly men are treated these days, and given other factors as well that we're not going to get onto in this stream because we're going into a ridiculous tangent again, right? But yeah, people want something from something these days, and loyalty to country and state is at an all-time low due to various political and social economic factors. So yes, retention and recruitment is at an all-time low. I thought that was like 25 years ago. I think I missed the context of whatever you said there, Baron. Think about what kind of barbarian I would be. Shit pay and shitty living conditions can be tolerated for a bit, but being treated like shit and looked down upon, yeah, good soldiers didn't put up with that. And that's exactly the thing. The good people leave, and the chances and the losers and the wasters, they stay in, right? And they're the people who make it to general. the talent leaves and does something more freeing and stimulating in Civvy Street is what tends to happen. It's kind of part of the reason why I left, because I just got fucking bored. Quite frankly, I just got fed up and bored. But rule for number 5, women are never doing or thinking nothing, okay? So a woman's world experience is like a feedback loop, meaning that without constant references, they lose the ability to feel meaning from their actions and thoughts. So this is I'd say this is broadly how a woman's communication style works. If you're slow, she interprets it as disinterest, or that you have more interest in something else. I've lost count on how many times I've genuinely tried to just genuinely listen and understand where a woman's coming from, and because I don't like answer her immediately, she thinks that I'm not paying attention or I'm thinking about something else. So then, in order to correct that behavior, I try to just affirm immediately after she said something that I'm listening, and then she complains, right, that I answered too quickly. So I'm clearly not fucking. I genuinely don't understand what she's saying, and it's like you're caught in this situation where you don't win, which is unfortunate. So if you're too fast, she basically interprets you as having something to express. So sometimes she can kind of slow down to hear you out, but then it leads to this awkward situation where you don't really have anything to add, and then she kind of just thinks you're just being rude. The other thing with women is that if you're offbeat, she will assume that you don't understand, and she gets very slowly frustrated. Depending on a woman, she can get very quickly. She can get frustrated very quickly. And if you're on beat, she will assume you understand. So I think the key is to always try to remain on beat if you can. And if you can't remain on beat, then you need to pretend. You need to do your best to pretend that you're on beat. So what the beats are in this context is it's about understanding the full context of what the woman is saying. So if you identify it slow, you're kind of not focusing on what she's saying. If you identify it too fast, then you're not being thorough enough. And if you don't identify it, it means you're difficult to talk to. And if you manage to identify it normally, they assume all is well. So yeah, women, very difficult to understand. You need to find, it's like the biting point if you're driving the manual of a car. You need to find that perfect biting point where you don't answer her too quickly, but you're not so slow as to think that she's kind of that you're kind of not paying attention to her. Women excel, exactly as you say, they excel at creating these no-win scenarios. Women are a rhythm game. That's well said, Size of Lemons. Women are very much a rhythm game. Every rant, every tangent that a woman goes on is basically a song, and you need to play DDR, right, to keep up with the beat. Anything less than an A ranking, and you're going to be in trouble. I should do a stream talking about military gripes. Actually, I always love hearing about US enlisted men talk about what it's like in their neck of the woods. My friend got demoted from an E4 specialist to an E1 private because they lost track of his records and counted him as AWOL. Fuck it out. I mean, we've got really bad admin in the British Army as well. But fucking, what's the worst? The worst thing I think I've ever seen us do is lose someone's medical records. That's the worst I've ever seen. To accidentally list someone as AWOL and bust them down to private is fucking obscene. Oh my god, yeah. And then you wonder why retention rate is low. That's why I believe in tomboy supremacy. You know, I'm a big fan of a tomboy as well. I quite like short-haired tomboyed women, as long as they're still relatively cute and effeminate. Hey, Cry-Hi. Mapping a conversation to a woman is in OSU right now. Who knows, maybe it works. I've noticed a lot of women actually like DDR, right? They like doing the whole dancing DDR thing. Maybe being a god at DDR, going to your local arcade and like owning your local DDR machine might actually help you hook up with a woman. I don't know. I remember the first time I ever stood on a DDR machine in an arcade. The whole fucking arcade was looking at me, like desperately flopping around to try to catch up with everything. Granted, this might also just be a woman playing a mind game with the guy. That's very true, Tempest. Women, particularly in this day and age still, women tend to like playing games with men. They like fucking with men and wasting their time. One thing I'd always say to you guys is, right, that we don't live in an age anymore where I think it's acceptable to play stupid games with women and to do that whole fucking about stuff. Maybe 30, 40 years ago when things were much slower and we didn't have, you know, dating apps, social media and hookup culture. But, you know, things are very difficult at the moment. We're all struggling financially. We're struggling to make connections, you know, find a meaningful job. A lot of us have mental health issues these days. You know, we're very overworked, overstressed, underpaid. And the last thing many of us, particularly men, need at the moment, given the fact that we're so often vilified in the media, is we don't need a woman making our lives more miserable and complicated than they are already, quite frankly. If a woman's playing stupid games with you, just like leave it, cut your losses, and find a woman who will treat you like who will treat you and your time with the respect that it deserves, right? Yeah, this old school fuddy-duddy stuff of, you know, of the chase and playing mind games is just, I just don't have the time or the patience for that shit anymore, and I don't think it should be indulged, quite frankly. Mind games are why I stopped dating women. They're never consistent and it just wastes my time. Yeah, exactly. Perfectly said, Tempest. Perfectly said. Rule number 6 about women, guys. Rule number 6. Women usually, 9 times out of 10, women smell good, okay? Rule number 6, women smell good. No further elaboration required. I'm always I mean, this does sound kind of gay, right? But sometimes when I smell some of like the perfume some of my ex-girlfriends have had, it smelled so good. I was almost tempted to buy a bottle of it myself because I'm like, shit, this is really good. So I want to smell this more regularly. Obviously, I don't want to wear it. I don't want to wear the perfume, but I want to smell the perfume because it's fucking good. What do you mean what? What do you mean what? Come on now. You've never smelled a woman's perfume and thought, oh shit, that's actually pretty good. I want to smell that a lot more. Look, Joe Biden hasn't got many things in his life, right? Okay, but no, I won't go there. I won't go there. I won't encourage you to go around sniffing women, all right? Lemon scented. I do like lemon for it's really weird. It's not intentionally by design, but I like blonde women. Lumi's a blonde woman. I love lemons. I love lemon flavored stuff. I love lemon flavored scents. I love lemon sherbets. Lumi's a lemon woman. Lumi's just the perfect VTuber for me. It's incredible, right? It's like God made a VTuber just for me. It's Lumi. It's perfect. It's crazy how that works. But anyway, sniffer, exactly. Sniffer. Gotta admit, I bought a perfume for women. No one knows it, but all like the smell. Yeah, exactly, Ninja Muffin. Exactly. Don't go around dating women whilst wearing perfume. A good perfume is good. It's a good sniff, right? You think she tastes like a lemon? Have you seen the art? I'm gonna have to show you this if you haven't, Belgian. But Agemata made an art of Lumi and made a Yuri art on Twitter of Lumi having her lemon licked by Jelly Hoshiyumi, and then Jelly's the funny Jerry face. Yeah. Hobo knows what I'm talking about. That was an incredible bit of fan art. I fucking love that man so much. Or woman. Is Agemata a man or a woman? Do you guys know? I haven't been sure. I haven't seen it. Not that I'm glad how many of you guys know which one I mean. That was an incredible fan art. It's so good. I love the stuff he draws. Wasn't it Panko? He might have done one for Panko as well as but he did one for Lumi. He did do one for Lumi. But no, it was Jerry doing it. It was Jerry doing it. Pretty sure, dude. Yeah, okay, yeah. Panko should have been me. I've lost count of the times I've been at work and a woman walked past me and I had to stop for a second to smell her perfume. We've gone from talking about women to being a creep stream now. Creep admissions with Lord Maulington, how we all secretly sniff women. I don't go around sniffing women, but you know how it is. Sometimes women really overpower their scents, right? And you can smell them from like a fucking mile away and it's like, that's pretty good actually. Wonder what that is. Actually kind of like redheads. I kind of like depends on the redheads, but yeah, I like certain redheads. Gillian Anderson was hot as fuck in the XFiles. I'm gonna start doing some like fucking video essays and streams on the XFiles, by the way. I think just to go on a quick tangent about the XFiles now. when I was a kid, right, in X-Files was first airing, I was part of the anti-Agent Doggett fan club because obviously I loved David Duchovny as Fox Mulder. However, I think my boy Agent Doggett deserves an exoneration because I actually think Agent Doggett is the best character in the X-Files now. I fucking love Agent Doggett. Robert Patrick, actually, as I'm getting older, that guy's really underrated. I really like Robert Patrick as an actor. He's really good. Obviously, in Terminator 2, in the X-Files, in Die Hard 2, as one of the random extra soldiers who were the bad guys. Good man. T-1000, exactly. I hate most perfumes. A lot of perfumes smell too girly. I like niche fragrances with earthy or incense undertones. Oh, okay. I'm a very vanilla guy, as you guys know. I have very vanilla taste in all things. So I tend to like women with fruity or like vanilla-y kind of sense. I was about to launch into a gender swap version of Boy Smell, but I got one sentence in and might creep myself out. Yeah, I can relate to you there, Judy. The problem is with making these kinds of jokes and being a content creator is that you can very clearly say something in jest, meme, and to quite clearly not be serious. But there's a lot of people on the internet, particularly in the VTubing sphere, I find, and to be fair to them, there are quite a lot of genuinely autistic people in VTubing who struggle to follow social cues, so they don't understand the difference between shit posting and being like deadly serious. But yeah, people really seem to either deliberately or because they're weird, disgusting, mutant Zoomer people, they fail to understand that context matters more than what is literally being said. So you've got people, for example, who say stuff like, oh, their deductive reasoning is, oh, people who are genuine like Nazis or white supremacists or, you know, just bad people make jokes about race or religion, for example. Therefore, you person I know nothing about, if you're making these kinds of jokes as well, well, because very bad people make these jokes and you make these jokes, that means that you are one of these people. That's their deductive reasoning, and it makes it really difficult I think sometimes to be confident in being entertaining or trying to be funny, or to have these kinds of streams like this one right now, where we're kind of being a bit serious, but also memeing on women in good faith a little bit. I don't think most reasonable women would take offense at what I'm saying. They kind of, at worst, like kind of nod, laugh, maybe say true, and kind of, you know, tut and roll their eyes at me. But there was something I saw on Twitter the other day where a live 2D artist, and he made a very clear disclaimer where he made a live 2D asset of like a woman's hand holding a golden ticket that said N-word pass on it. It said N-word pass on this ticket, right? And when I looked at that personally, I didn't think that was ha funny, but that was kind of like, oh yeah, an N-word pass, oh, that's amusing, that's funny. And he said, you know, clearly this is a joke, this is a shit post, I'm just joking. And then this guy got fucking lit up, brigaded, and dogpiled by the VTuber community, who all called him like a racist and like a Nazi and a white supremacist because he made it like a fucking stupid joke about the N-word pass, which was quite clearly, you know, a joke. And they're like, this isn't funny, this is offensive. And it's like, just fuck off, you miserable bad. Just like, fuck off, you miserable humorless cunts. It's not that bad. Come on now, relax. Community. Yeah, that's always the thing. Yeah. No, I'm not gonna get on a rant about how certain elements of the VTubing industry piss me off. But yeah, it's hang on a minute. Yeah, let's go. Some of the behavior of VTubing really annoys me, but it's not a VTubing problem. It's more of just a current day problem. I do long for those mid-2000 internet days where people weren't deliberately going out of their way to misinterpret people and get offended, right? But anyway, I hate my generation. Zoomers are fucking stupid. We all hate our own generations. Millennials have problems as well, right? People of my generation, we produced Joss Whedon, and Joss Whedon has basically ruined Hollywood movies, the summer blockbuster. Thanks to that dickhead, every millennial writer these days thinks that the epitome of comedy is, well, that happened. And like being ironic and sarcastic and taking nothing seriously. It was cute when Firefly did it. It was cute when Serenity did it. It was cute when Buffy the Vampire Slayer did it. it's really outworn its welcome now, and it's been beaten to fucking death, right? But anyway, let's not get on a tangent about fucking the state of movies. Let's continue on with women. So, rule number 7 about women: women like men. Okay, women like men. All women like, unless they're a lesbian, I guess, right? Or bisexual, but all women like men. Even women who claim to like meek, useless children actually prefer men. It's the age-old story of the blue-haired feminist who claims to hate toxic masculinity and the man-spreading, giga chads, and she claims to want she claims to want like the soy guy, and then within 2 weeks of the relationship, the poor soy guy, God bless him, he's now his wife's boyfriend. He's the husband, right? But his wife gets the boyfriend, right? And he's just there to give them money, whilst the other man does all the fucking, right? So what I mean by that is, though, essentially, try not to be overly insecure when you speak to women. Try not to be needy or over emotional. If you can't help it, then don't give the game away, right? I understand that obviously if you're affection or touch starved and you manage to secure a girlfriend, maybe you're feeling like really happy, you're feeling really giddy, and you might get a bit needy, over emotional, want to like shower her and like love and affection and stuff. But yeah, you have to kind of play it cool a little bit, right? You have to kind of tease the carrot with her. So the thing about women is, women don't know what they want either. Women pretend to know exactly what they want. Women will try to give men advice. Never listen to a woman trying to give you advice, right? She's full of shit. She doesn't know what she's talking about. A woman will endlessly spend time micromanaging you and trying to just endlessly fidget and finesse you into their perfect ideal little thing. And then what happens is that they manage to achieve this goal. They basically get bored, they hate the result, they hate the thing that they've made themselves, and then they'll discard you if you let them. So I think the important thing to remember about women is, don't let women walk all over you. Don't indulge in that my better half bullshit, okay? I know people, that used to be a joke, right? The woman, oh, this is my girlfriend, this is my wife, this is my partner, this is my better half. That used to be a joke. I think over time it's not a joke anymore now, and it's genuinely become a form of acceptable misandry. So in regards to that my better half bullshit, don't let a woman change you. Never ever let a woman change you. If you want to change for the sake of a woman or the potential of family, then do it for that reason, right? It's important to think about the context. Don't change because a woman told you to do it. Change because you want to do it. You feel like you're becoming a better version of yourself. Always remember that. You always have to be the master of yourself. That's very important. So I think with many men in the UK in particular, they're basically browbeaten, pathetic slime creatures with no respect for themselves. And it's like their wives or their girlfriends fucking humiliate them publicly, and I think it's a bloody shame. And it's why, funny enough, it's why British men are in very high desirability in places like Southeast Asia. Funnily enough, we're very high status people in Southeast Asia, we British men, because I imagine it's because these women come from more patriarchal societies where men, control and really dominate the relationship, and so they're probably like gagging at the opportunity, right, to get themselves a husband who will just let them do what they want, right? So yeah, don't let women walk all over you, boys, okay? Be the master of yourself. Temp hasn't changed me as far as I know, except for my stance on guns and some small shit. Did Temp make you more pro guns, or did she make you less pro guns, Paladin? How did she influence your love of guns? I fucking love guns. If I could, I would have an entire room full of guns. I want to buy a Knights Armament SIR-15. I want a Benelli M4. I want a Browning High Power. I want a Colt Python. I want a 38 Special. I want a Lee Enfield Mark No. 4. I want an M24. I want a Barrett 50 cal. I want a grenade launcher. I want an AA-12. I want a Mossberg 500. I want a 50 cal. I want a 30 cal. I want an Apache. I want an Apache attack helicopter. I want an F-16. I want a Bradley armored. Is it a Bradley an armored fighting vehicle, or is it an infantry fighting vehicle? I want a Leopard, a main battle tank. I want a Challenger Mark III. I want a 20mm autoloader. What else do I want? I want a 1911 in gold. I want it plated in gold with ivory handles. I want a double-barreled shotgun. I want everything that Hillcox 48 has basically fired. All right. It's an infantry fighting vehicle. Okay, yeah. Oh, hey, Miller Vanilla. Fucking hell. Hey, Miller, how are you doing? Good to see you there. Woman perspective here. I think it's important to collaborate with your woman, and it's good to be inspired to improve yourself. But it's true, we want a man that is in secure as to who she is. Yeah, that's well said, Vanilla. That's well said, Minna. Well said. Yeah, it's like as I've said previously before, people like Andrew Tate really, and like the red pill sphere, the manosphere, really do a disservice and do a lot of damage, I think, to male-female relations. It's like a woman isn't the better half of a man isn't the better half of a woman. We've all got our differences, right, as part of our genders or sex or whatever the correct word is. The two of us, we complete each other. And it's not about taking control of the relationship. It's not about being dominant. It's about having that communication. And it's about the two of you working together to have the wait, do you know me? I don't know you personally, Minna, but I'm doing a documentary on Flavor. I'm a big fan of FaZe Connect. I've spoken to many Flavor people. I've spoken to Miliardo as well to get some information on. So yeah, I think everybody in the FaZe Connect sphere knows you, Minna. We all know you. Yeah. Men and women are complementary to each other. That's well said. I should have probably done this as like a collab, try to reach out to some female VTubers and do a collab. I might do that actually at some point in the future. Yeah, it'd be great to do these kinds of streams with other VTubers, and we can have like a round table discussion on these kinds of issues. I am an enjoyer of Flavor. I bloody love Flavor. It's one of my favorite. It's probably my favorite thing to ever happen in VTubing is Flavor. It's a fantastic social experiment that didn't go wrong. It's a social experiment that went right. Yeah, I bloody love what happened for Flavor. Particularly the kind of content creators that Flavor produced is fantastic. Take a look at what Nyana Banyana is. Take a look at what Nyana Banyana is doing following her debut with Flavor, right? She's now headlining 3D concerts and organising that in the VTubing community. No way, you've popped up in my feed, so I decided to pop in. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, the algorithm seems to be doing funny work tonight. I'm in EST time for a while. I'm looking to collab. Oh, that's awesome. I'll hit you up with DM later. Actually, it'd be fun to it'd be fun to speak to you to get a collab going with you, Miliardo, any of the other Flavor people as well. Actually, and talk about Flavor life. Talk about anything. Yeah, I know. I like I've seen some of the back and forth you and Miliardo have had like publicly on Twitter, and I thought some of the stuff you two seem to talk about is really sweet. I can't remember what it was. I liked a tweet of yours like 2-3 weeks ago where you were talking about your marriage, and you said something that I can't quite remember now. But I thought, oh, that's so sweet. That's so precious. I wish I knew people in relationships that healthy. Unfortunately, a lot of the people I know who are married or in a kind of like live-in relationship are in a kind of relationship where they're throwing china at each other every other day. So I only mainly know like abusive relationships, sadly. Nyana was Flavor? I didn't even know. Yeah, Nyana Banyana was Flavor. I think she was technically Gen 2 Flavor, I think, Nyana. Yeah, Nyana is a powerhouse. I'm incredible where the banana's going. She's growing so quickly as well, actually. I first subscribed to Banana when she was like 8k subs, and she had like about 40 to 30 people turning up to stream. But yeah, in about like 5-6 months, she's gone 6 to 8 times bigger than she was before. It's like, hell yeah, I love watching that kind of growth. Been married for 10 years and we're doing okay. Yeah, it's good to hear, Tempest. If Belgian, I'm not gay, right? But hit me up if you two ever break up, because because Belgian, man, you're a funny guy, Belgian. And if you're still here, Zero, as well. This probably doesn't do good for my image of I swear to God, I'm not gay, right? But I would happily snatch away Zero from Elizabeth and Belgian from Tempest. I want bros, right? Bros are hilarious. The three of us should do a collab, actually. Belgian, Zero, you need to get your VTuber model sorted, and we need to do like a weekly podcast. We could do the boys kind of stream where we talk about, I don't know, stupid shit. It'd be really funny, I think. It's probably the tweet. That was it. Yeah, that was it. The redoing your wedding dance if you got 3D. Oh, that's such a sweet. That's such a lovely. That's such a lovely creative gesture. I love stuff like that as well, right? When it's a lot of people these days, I think, kind of go through the motions of just, you know, doing what everyone else does. You know, maybe buying a gift, or, you know, like taking a trip maybe to where you guys first met. And don't get me wrong, I think like revisiting where you first proposed, or maybe where you first like went on a walk together, that's kind of sweet. But to recreate your wedding dance with like a VTuber 3D thing, that's so wonderful. What a wonderful idea. It gives me, I'm a bit black-pilled with relationships at the moment. I'm in between girlfriends right now, and I'm kind of on that. I'm on the cusp of that Vtuber aspect where I'm like, I'm never gonna find the woman where you know, that woman that you want to spend the rest of your life with. But you give me hope, Minna. You give me hope that I can find something incredibly sweet and touching like that. Lord Maulington kisser. I'm not a boy kisser. Just purely bromancing, as Hero says. Yeah, I'm the man stealer. I'm a man eater. Where was I with this? Anyway, yeah. I think what I'll say as well, right, about being a man in a relationship. Women, I think most women, almost all women, don't like timid, nice guys who are like afraid to upset her. The point isn't to be rude and to deliberately antagonize a woman, right? But you know, there's the nice guy effect. People talk about how women don't like me, but I'm such a nice guy, and I think being a quote-unquote nice guy isn't really a virtue, and it's not really anything of meaning. I mean, what does it mean to be a nice guy? Even the biggest asshole can have his moments of, you know, being genuinely thoughtful and respectful, and, you know, to provide some value to a woman. Unfortunately, saying, oh well, I'm a nice guy isn't quite a strong advertisement tool to attract a woman. We're all capable of being nice sometimes. Even Adolf Hitler had his moments where he was nice, right? Liz will fight you for me, and she'll fight me. I mean, she is an Australian. Australian women are bigger men than Australian men, right? Just don't be Mordecai from the regular show. Hey, Camille. I love my wife very much, but she is distant lately. What should I do, Morley? Wow, since we're all friends, Camille, I can speak to Louis if you want. I can speak to Louis and see why she's being distant. Being stern with reason is okay. Yeah, I'll get into the specifics of that in just a moment, actually. Being nice is the bare minimum, yeah. Being nice is just what you should be naturally anyway. It's not a virtue. You should all, you know, be nice where applicable. It's not like a selling point, right? It's like, hey, you should get together with me because I'm not a cunt all of the time. And I think being overly timid, right? Being an overly timid, nice guy who just endlessly showers a woman with like compliments and, you know, validation and approval. If not consciously, then it usually unconsciously turns them off, or it can invite disrespect or even resentment from women. Being a shy and nervous guy, I found it's completely fine, by the way. It's completely fine to be shy and nervous around women. Lots of women have no problem with that, and they genuinely find it kind of cute. But when you're consistently being meek and timid, it can get gross really fast. And women instinctively, right, they want a man. They want to be together with someone who they know. You know, it's like the saber-toothed tiger, right, coming into the den, threatening the woman and the baby. Women don't expect you to be like a 6'3" Viking warrior. They just to have that, I guess, aggression, that protective instinct within you to come rushing to the defense of your woman from predators. Even if you lose, that is sufficient, right, to win the internal love and respect of a woman. Obviously, it's great. It's absolutely fantastic if you don't go down in front of the missus. But if you do stand up in defense of the missus, that is normally sufficient for 9 out of 10 women, right? Hey, Zero. I will mute when you're join. Louis will mute when you join. We should, by the way, Camille and Zero here are my two very based friends who I sometimes talk about in the private Discord messages. Zero, Camille, we should do a 7 days to die stream at some point. As long as you two promise to fucking behave yourselves and not say anything that'll get me banned off of YouTube, that'd be great. That would be fun. Hey, Astasha. I'm absurdly shy, but you know how brutal I can be. Yeah, exactly. It's fine to be shy. It's fine to be nervous. Women can find that kind of cute, but as long as you stand by your woman and come to her aid and show her some respect and defend her honor when it matters, that's sufficient, even if you do lose. So, what's like some of the examples, I guess, of being like overly meek, kind of creepy, kind of gross in the way you speak, in the way you can behave around women? So, if you try to, constantly please her all the time, if you look to if you always ask women for permission before taking action, I always feel really bad for those poor guys, right? Sometimes you see those guys at the bar, you send a message you call up one of your bros and you're like, hey, do you want to go out and go see June? You want to go to the movies next week? And they're like, oh, I don't know, I need to ask the wife for permission. It's not that, it's not that you should just abandon all your responsibilities and, go hang out with the boys, particularly if you've got kids or you've got, dependents responsibilities. And yeah, it's like you should communicate, with your wife, with your girlfriend, to just confirm that she'll be okay, if she's left alone whilst you go out and go to movies with the boys. But I always think it's always worrying to me when they say the words asking permission, right? You shouldn't have to ask permission. It should be like a respectful negotiation, right? I think everybody needs their time away from their partner from time to time, right? Minna, here we go. Yeah, Minna Tempest, please feel free to help the poor guys in the chat communicate with their girlfriend's troubles if they've got any. Obviously, I'm not happily married, so Minna knows a lot more about this kind of stuff than I do, right? I'm just speaking from my experience as someone who's had a couple of very serious relationships, but sadly, I haven't found the right woman yet to want to spend the rest of my life with. Normally, it gets to the living stage, right? When it gets to that point, I'm like, God, this woman is a little bit annoying. I don't think this will last forever. I don't know. You might disagree with me on this. I tend to have the attitude, right, where it sounds kind of bad to say, but this is how I feel, right? I've got a little bit of a traditionalist mindset when it comes to relationships. I like to take the lead and make the plans in the relationship most of the time, but I will take feedback and I will have like an honest discussion with the woman, right? It's not a complete dictatorship. I'm always open to feedback, discussions, and adjusting plans based on that feedback. But I think with British men in particular, they tend to let women dominate and control what they're doing in their lives. And I don't know, I just have that traditionalist mindset where it's like I think the man should take the lead in these kinds of scenarios. But I don't know, what do you guys think? Do you think that's being unfair? I've only had one girlfriend and she was a hardcore self-Joshi. Being a FaZe fan was destiny. Yeah, FaZe Connect does attract a lot of self-Joshis. And Niji Sanji does as well. I was engaged once, but I consider myself soft divorced. I'm sorry to hear that, Backslash. Truly the most American. Don't censor. I guess you should censor Brit. I don't like being British. I'm not British. I'm a temporarily embarrassed American, right? Body language, I find, is the key with women as well. When your body language, you're slouching, you look all jittery and fidgety, you've got your arms folded, you're getting all defensive, you're looking a bit meek and timid. It's okay to do that a little bit when you're nervous and shy, but I tend to find that if you're excessively like meek and insecure around women, then you lose their respect, right? And you can, if anything, when you've lost a woman's respect, that's basically the end of the game. And then they stop seeing you as like a potential mate, and they start seeing you as like the little kid. They start seeing you as a little, the little baba that needs looking after. And try to control the tone of your voice as well. Try not to get all high pitched and squeaky. Speak really quickly around women. Try to be smooth. Try to eloquent. What's the word? Eloquent. Your word. I can't fucking. What's the words? Eloquent. I'm trying not going to use fancy words. Speak good when you're speaking to women, right? You need to speak good. You need to speak good. Speak slowly. Speak clearly. Try not to show the fact that you're absolutely bricking it. And make sure that you're not overly emotionally reactive to women. So if a woman's feeling bad, I think you should take the approach of being that comforting, strong presence in her life. If a woman's having a cry and she's feeling all sad, don't be like one of her girlfriends who's like, yeah, ironic, right? Don't be one of her girlfriends who's like, oh my god, precious, oh, give me hugs and kisses, you poor thing. Miliardo does have a great voice, Miller, actually. I do. My voice is I shouldn't admit this, right, but my voice is the most insecure thing I have about me. Of everything, I'm secure of everything except for my voice. So when I come across people like Pirate Radio, for example, and people like Miliardo, I'm always like, man, I wish I had a great voice like these guys. Wish I didn't sound so disgustingly British. But yeah, it does help, guys, if you've got a good voice. You hate your voice, do you, Felix? You shouldn't hate your voice, Felix. I mean this in a good way, Felix. You do sound like just a regular young American guy. So you shouldn't hate your voice. You sound normal. Your voice is the best thing about you, and I would know. I don't know with you, Cabell. You like to tease me a lot. I don't know if you genuinely mean that. Okay, the British debuff is understandable. I don't think I have a good voice. I think I have an awful voice, right? But you get used to it after time. That you let the content speak for yourself, right? Honestly, you don't sound overly British. That's good enough for me. That's good enough. Hey, Mealy Man. I'm doomed when it comes to women. Well, put off the programmer socks then, Mealy Man, and then you'll find a woman, no problem. I don't know how I sound. I'd like to listen to you actually speak for real at one point as Dasha. I don't know, are you more, have you got a Birmingham accent as Dasha, or are you more Liverpool? Are you more like, right lads, we're going to Liverpool? Or are you more like, alright, I'm from Birmingham. Oh, I sell used car mats. We're at post offices, we're from Birmingham. I like your voice, but do hate that you're British. I think your voice is something that you can train. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Minna. It's always something that you can train to change or improve. Unfortunately, I'm just really fucking lazy and struggle to commit to that kind of stuff. I did try. I was supposed to be learning to sing. I did start learning to sing about a year ago, and I spent like 2 or 3 months doing it, and I just got like too tired and worn out from all my other stuff in my life to carry on with that. But I'm gonna pick it up again at some point. It'd be fun to do proper song covers and do the whole VTuber circuit, right? Do all the typical VTuber stuff, sing. I'm not gonna dance. You're never gonna see me dance, right? But do some singing maybe. I'd like to sing like Breaking Benjamin at one point. That'd be the dream, if I could sing just half as well as Ben Burnley from Breaking Benjamin. You sound like a posh northeasterner. That's an oxymoron, right? I think my voice is kind of squeaky, but other people kind of like it, I guess. Yeah, I like it. I like your voice. I think your voice is fine. Yeah. I can do a crazy British accent. Perks of spending like 4 months in Manchester. Do you know who Carl Pilkington is, Belgian? Carl Pilkington is peak Mancunian. I sound like a fucking bathwater IQ bogan. Oi, mate! Give us your fucking ciggies, mate! Actually, do you know who Pistilli is, Zero? Do you sound like Pistilli? I don't know if Pistilli is like a bogan sounding guy. Pistilli is like my go-to Australian accent. Him and Shooter Williamson, like the comedian on YouTube. God, I love Breaking Benjamin. I fucking love Breaking Benjamin as well. Ben Burnley is such a giga chad. He's got such a great voice. He's so talented, and he's a huge gamer as well. Blow Me Away is peak mid to God, I need to do a fucking like just interest stream where we chat about We chat about Master and Commander. We talk about Breaking Benjamin. We talk about early 2000s music. We talk about Halo. We talk about early 2000s Flash music, Flash animations, do all that good shit. That'd be so much fun. They fall in line one at a time, ready to play. I can't hear them anyway. Out of breath. No time to lose, we've got to move, steady the helm. What else is the other iconic Breaking Benjamin songs that everyone knows from then? Obviously, you've got the Diary of Jane. I will try to find my place in the Diary of Jane. Polyamorous as well from that game. What's it called? Don't Just Run Away or something? There's that game with Michael Ironsides in it called Just Run or something, the Alien game. My polyamorous friend, you got me in a mess of trouble again. What's the other iconic Breaking Benjamin songs? People always know Diary of Jane, they know Blow Me Away. What else is there? Ozzy and Rob Halford, that's pretty good. Actually, Maulington do Brits do the whole woman takes a man's family name like Americans do too? Yeah, we do. Women take the men's family name in the UK. Did you say Diary of Jane as well? You did Diary of Jane. God, there's so many good Breaking Benjamin songs. I might try to do a Breaking Benjamin stream horribly at some point. Anyway, to get back on track, I think the key tenets, right, of when you're engaging with women, I think the number one tenet you should always have when speaking to women is to speak the truth, right? And not all women will take kindly to you speaking the truth. But even if a woman gets really angry and upset with you, I think most reasonable women do respect you being honest with her. So I'd say number one, speak truth. Be fearless in speaking your truth. The only approval at the end of the day, you're the person, right? You have to live with yourself at the end of the day. So your own approval of yourself is probably the primary concern. But yeah, if you're in a happy, loving relationship, particularly when you've got kids and dependents involved, though, maybe you should have some kind of introspection there and always consider what potential grievances your woman has with you, and to think about whether you should fix some of the more negative aspects of your character if you do have them. But again, going back to earlier, you should be like the master of your own of yourself. I would always say don't treat women with kid gloves, so to speak. Be conscious of her feelings, but I would always say honesty is the best policy, and do be direct to women. Some women obviously fly off the fucking handle when you do this. I can't really give you any best definitive advice on how to do that. All I can say is, from my point of view, from my preferences with women, if a woman asks me for my opinion on something, or something needs to be said, and her reaction to that is to fly off the handle, be abusive, derogatory, then I dump the bitch, quite frankly. I have patience for, I can fully understand, appreciate, and have patience for women who get emotional and, they fly off the handle, they have a bit of a tizzy from time to time. That's fine. But when there's a constant pattern of like a woman freaking the fuck out and being genuinely quite mean and spiteful every time you do or say something that she doesn't like, and what you're doing and saying is quite reasonable, yeah, that's just a miserable life. That's just like a miserable marriage waiting to happen. So even if you do quite like the girl, even if she does make it up and apologize later, I would always caution to potentially seek a different partner. Something I'd always say to guys is, right, it doesn't have to be about relationships, it's just life in general. If someone does something to you that you don't like, you tell them that you don't like it, they apologize, right, and they say they're not going to do it again, they apologize for it, and then they do that thing again, and they do it again, and they do it again, and they do it again, and they apologize, they're not actually sorry. Because if you were genuinely sorry for doing something, right, that's bad, even if you didn't think it was bad, but you were genuinely sorry and you cared for that person, you'd stop doing it, right? You'd stop doing it. I once did something. I once made a joke that went too far about another VTuber. That other VTuber sent me a DM on Discord telling me exactly why. He thought what I said was offensive and inappropriate, and I said I was sorry. and I didn't do it again. And then every time I'm like having laughs and banters and you know, having a chat with this VTuber because I'm genuinely sorry and didn't mean to do something. That's that feedback I got from them is always at the forefront of my mind, right? Because the joke I made wasn't mean-spirited, but it's just my kind of weird, you know, wacky humor that might go a bit far sometimes. And I get the impulse to do it again because it's just how I am. But then because I'm genuinely sorry, because I genuinely care about the person, I go, no, Maulington, don't make this joke. They don't appreciate it. They think it's weird and inappropriate. Shut up and do something else. Simple as that, right? Be honest, be true to yourself, and communicate. How else do you want to iron out differences if you don't even tell them what's wrong? And that's, I think, the crux of a lot of relationship issues at the moment, is that people just let the anger and the animosity, they let it build up. It builds and builds and builds. No one realizes that they're pissing off the other person. And then one day they go to see maybe they go to see a therapist. They go to see like a marriage counselor. And because they've got this massive well of pent-up rage, anger, emotions, and grievances that have been built up and unresolved over such an amount of time, once that finally gets unleashed, all that hatred, anger, and resentment all gets like released at once, and then it leads people to making, you know, really rash and silly decisions, and it leads to the ruination of relationships. So rather than letting problems build up to the boiling point where they can't be fixed, it's always best to communicate, nip these problems in the bud, and catch them at the earliest point before, you know, things get worse, right? If you ignore a problem, it's not going to go away, it's just going to get worse. Don't date a crazy person or you'll end up like Mr. T-Lexity. Yeah, I know, but the problem is, right? The problem is, Aram, is that mentally unwell women are fucking sexy. That's the problem. Right? When I see a woman with thick mascara and she's got the psycho eyes, the psycho face, and the mascara's running, I look at that man and it's like, man, I want that woman to ruin my life so bad, man. God, that's so fucking hot. Hell yeah. Do you know what I mean? Don't stick your dick in crazy, but man, that is the sweetest treat, a mentally unwell woman. I look at that man. No, I don't mean I look at that man. I look at that comma man. No, wait. I look at that comma man. Yeah, I look at that comma man. Or no, I look at that full stop man. I'm not sure which would make more grammatical sense. I can make her worse. I don't want to make her better. I want to make her worse. Exactly. Studies say men prefer mentally unwell women. We do, right? We do prefer mentally unwell women because they're very exciting. It's regular women are very predictable. They can be quite boring, right? But you never know what's going to happen with a mentally unwell woman. It's really exciting. Lumi's sad girl arc must have killed you. And that's exactly what I had pictured in my head, actually, funny enough, Smith. It's a picture of that meme picture, right? That's done the rounds of Lumi, where it says you'd give your schizophrenic girlfriend a gun, right? That is just chef's kiss. Perfect. I love women like that, right? Let's ruin our lives together. Hell yeah. Let's jump off a bridge together. Let's what's that band's name? What's that band's name that sings that emo song that says tears don't fall? Is it Tears for My Blood for My Valentine? Tears for My Valentine? Yeah, we're driving the car, right? 3 a.m, going 200 miles an hour down a heavy, driving down a residential block, listening to Tears Don't Fall, right? That's every man's dream with the psycho goth girlfriend, emo girlfriend. Bullet for My Valentine. That's it. Thank you, Ghastly. Bullet for My Valentine. Any advice for short guys? Yes, for short guys, my advice to you would be to get fit, get strong, become athletic. Women can deal with a man being on the shorter side if he's a high status male, so he's got a good job, he makes decent money. If the guy's physically quite well built, quite well together, and if the guy has like an interesting personality as well, and he shows sufficient interest and attention to a woman. I've known quite attractive women who have dated relatively short, very prematurely male pattern baldness bold guys, and the way these guys have managed to attract these attractive women, again, in the first instance, it's because they've obviously they've shocked enough shots that they found a woman who's willing to give such a man a chance. Again, going back to preference, some women have a zero tolerance policy of guys who are like under, I don't know, 5'7". Some women will not date bold men under any circumstances. Whilst that may be unfortunate if you fall into that category, what you need to remember is that you probably have some kind of line that you draw with women, right? And it's hypocritical for you to shame women for having a reasonable but unfortunate, you know, kind of line in what kind of man they're willing to be attracted to. I generally speaking, I don't like women under 5'2", and I don't like women over about 5'3", no matter how good looking she is or how influential or how popular such a woman is. Unfortunately, I just don't find women like that attractive. I wouldn't probably date a woman like that unless she was such a fantastic person to be around. I probably wouldn't date a woman who was too tall or too short, right? So we've all got our preferences, but fitness, being strong, having a good job, having decent money, and you know, having some kind of personality that makes her enjoy being around you helps. Being funny, for example, that's the old classic. Being a funny guy, and you know, always just being there for her. You know, looking after her and being there to support her is a good one as well. You've got some stiff standards. I don't think I'm too bad. Essentially, I like blondes, I like redheads, I like brunettes. My only cut-off point is weight and height, right? I think that's reasonable. That's a really small height range. That's not a small height range. 5'2" to 6'3". That's fine. I mean, it's not like an ironclad, right? So if a woman's 5'1", 5 foot, then maybe, right? But any shorter than that, I don't know, it's kind of weird. And weight is fixable as well, right? Exactly, weight's fixable if she's young enough or sufficient motivation. This is going to be odd, but any advice to guys dating outside of their race? God, I don't know. That's a very good question, Felix. I don't date outside my own race. Yeah. I guess it depends. I guess in which country you're in. Some, obviously, women of different races might have different cultures, different standards. So I guess it would help to understand, you know, like any racial or religious, you know, cultural elements of a family you're dating into. Like we have a lot of Indian and Pakistani communities in the UK, for example, and these communities, although they do assimilate obviously to UK, you know, English culture somewhat, they do tend to stick very strongly to their Indian Pakistani traditions. So yeah, doing some research, I guess, into their views on their daughters or sons or whatever, you know, dating people, dating same sex, dating foreigners, outsiders, would help you understand if you'd even be accepted by the family, and I guess what kind of men and women in that family, in that kind of culture, you know, what they're looking for. Some cultures aren't, you know, as, I guess, flexible and open-minded as we are in Western liberal democracies, and that's not necessarily, it's not a bad thing, not necessarily a good thing, but you know, some cultures have very traditionalist expectations of men, and they are very much against, you know, like homosexuality and stuff. So if you're, for example, a Western liberal white man who wants to, you know, have a relationship with an Indian man, for example, even if the Indian man in question is gay as well, and they want to have, you know, they want to get together with you, you should expect, you know, that their family will fucking hate your guts and want to kick your shit in, right? Hey, the Mercian, praying for my short kings. Yeah, being again, and unless you're under 5'2", there's a lot you can do to mitigate the effects of being a short king. Being fit, being strong, being an interesting character, and you know, being reasonably well off and having a high status job will help you get over the fact that you're short or bold. Yeah, don't think that height is the be all and end all, but at the same time, let's not cope here. Height and hairline are two big factors that feature into attractiveness, and it will sadly cut you off from a fairly reasonable amount of the female dating pool, as I imagine some of you have probably experienced if you're on the shorter side. But here's the thing: as the noble scholar Boomhauer in King of the Hill once said, "Oh goddamn man, so many women out there, man. Don't matter, man. Just shoot your shot, man. Women all the time, man. Goddamn women, man. One woman turn you down, you just go down and talk to another woman, man. Hey, like, hey, you want to go grab a drink? And no goddamn woman, man." She says, "Hell yeah, let's go grab a beer, man." Right? There was an episode of that in King of the Hill actually, where Boomhauer takes together fucking Bobby. I tell you what, where Boomhauer takes Bobby around and teaches him like how to deal with women. And as Boomhauer tells Bobby, he says, "Look, I get rejected all the time. A lot of women don't like me, but if I don't try in the first place, then no woman will like me. There are for every 8 times I get rejected, 2 out of 10 women will happily give me the time of day, right? So just shoot your shot. Do something that boosts your self-confidence. If you're confident in your body, confident in your job, confident in what you've achieved in life, then that should, I guess, help you deal with rejection." I've actually got a little segment later actually that talking about how to meet and how to pick up women. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. Actually, let's continue on with this point here in particular. Wholesome Boomhauer motivation. AI kind of thing. Yeah, exactly. Good old Boomhauer. I fucking love King of the Hill. King of the Hill was another cartoon I hated as a kid, and now that I'm a middle-aged man, I fucking love King of the Hill. King of the Hill now. That boy ain't right. I'll tell you. What? Where was I? Yeah. So point number 3 about dealing with women: stay grounded in your body when you're speaking to women. Trying to escape anxiety will oh hey, thank you very much for rejoining the gentleman, Lion. Thank you very much, my friend. Free color message. Hell yeah. Cheers, buddy. ¿Dónde está la biblioteca, Lion? ¿Cómo te llamas? No, wait, that's French. Me tengo fui a Alemania. Dang, I'll tell you what, man. So staying grounded, right, helps you slow down, speak intentionally, and stay connected to what's true to you. Always retain some awareness of what's going on in your body, even in the midst of conversation. Everyone falls into this trap, even seasoned veterans. When you're uncomfortable, when you're nervous, you start to unconsciously do things with your body. You might cross your arms, cross your legs, you slouch over, you might start sweating. Try to be, just like you're going for a job interview, try to be cognizant of your body language. Sit up straight, don't fiddle with your hands, put your hands down somewhere straight, and yeah, have a nice strong shoulders back, deep breaths, and project. Speak to a woman very confidently. King of the Hill and Benny Hill, both are much better when you're older versus being a kid. Yeah, it's very true. Confidence is key. Exactly, Tempest. La biblioteca está en mis pantalones. I know enough. Spanish is close enough to English that I know what that means, I think. So the biblioteca is in your pants, is it? Oh, monsieur. Oh, bonjour. Wait, no, French again. Hang on. What's it? How do you say man in how do you say man in Mexican? You say what do you say? I don't know, gringo. Just go with gringo. Hombre. Thank you, hero. Hombre. Gringo. I'm just gonna say gringo, but you're not a gringo, are you? I guess if you're Mexican. Are Mexicans gringos? Are Mexicans? No, Mexicans aren't gringos, are they? Mexicans are Latino. Yeah, I'm not a very well-traveled British guy, guys. I'm afraid I don't understand Americanisms. Okay, I don't understand the difference. I can't tell the difference between a Canadian, an American, and a Mexican unless the Mexican's wearing a sombrero and a mustache. Then I recognize. Oh, he's a Mexican. Okay. Oh yeah, and also not only does a Mexican need a mustache and a sombrero for me to recognize him, he needs to have his theme tune playing in the background. But yeah, okay. And one thing I'd say as well, when you're speaking to women, don't try to dominate women. Don't make demands. Don't make demands of women. Extend invitations instead, right? Instead of telling a woman we're gonna do this, or you should do this, right? Extend an invitation to a woman. So when you give a woman that's kind of like wounded, kind of like a wounded masculine energy, kind of like the Andrew Tate energy, it's like wounded masculinity that's steeped in insecurity. It's very dictatorial, and it's very tyrannical, right? Which women don't like and women don't respect. And it makes demands of women, which you really shouldn't try to do. You shouldn't try to control and subdue women. And you can get into a nasty habit of unconsciously playing out these dynamics, and it's a recipe for disaster. So instead of making demands of women, instead you extend invitations to them. So if you want her to come close, frame it as a question. Say, be like, hey, come over here. Let's have a hug. And if you want to get naked with her, don't say, bitch, get your clothes off and suck my dick, or whatever the fuck Andrew Tate would say. Say it to her. Frame it as an invitation. Like, hey, do you want to get a little bit intimate tonight, right? Do you want to do it in the very classy British style, right? You go, hello, my dear, would you care for a spot of fornication tonight? Almost. There we are, jolly good. Right? That's how you court a woman in England, right? Very fancy, right? Invite her. Send her an invitation. Don't make demands of her. Don't try to gaslight her or guilt trip her. Wanna get frisky? Hell yeah. Hey, baby. Hey, baby, be the mother of my kittens, nya. Whatever the fuck Eris says in Mushoku Tensei. But yeah, I guess to summarize that paragraph, right? What I'm trying to say is, women are weird. They basically want you to challenge them and put them in their place at times. Kind of like velociraptors, women are always testing your fences. And the trick isn't to fucking crush them or to send her straight to the fucking moon, right? Like you're Rick James. Sometimes you have to give the woman a bit of a cold shoulder, make her a bit emo, make her longing for a bit of affection and attention from you. And then what you do is you go in there all cool like, and you give her a genuinely nice compliment, right? You say that you like her hair, or you like her outfit or something, and then bam, the endorphins give her the warm gooey feelings, and you're in, right? You're in. And to be fair to women too, right? We're framing this as what men should do to essentially, get on a woman's good side. But to be fair to women don't want, what you have to remember is about women is that they don't want you to do things because you've been told to do them. They don't want you to do things because you feel obligated to do them. Women want you to do something because you want to do it for the sake of the relationship. So, for example, you genuinely want to get your girlfriend or your wife a nice, thoughtful gift. You genuinely want to take out the trash, keep the house clean and do the chores, right? It's if a woman has to keep telling you to do things and you do them, and then she's still upset and pissy with you, it's probably because she's fed up with having to constantly tell you to do these things and it being like it constantly being a hassle. She wants you to be proactive and do your part for the sake of the relationship. And that, again, that's not true of all women. Some women really are just like fucking lazy, ungrateful, and don't respect you whatsoever. But I think if you're conscious of a woman's needs and wants, you do your fair bit for the relationship, and you genuinely do it for the sake of maintaining that relationship, and she's still unhappy, then that's the moment, I think, when you can recognize that a woman's being unreasonable. And again, it's about introspection. You should always be thinking about why a woman might be freaking out at you. And it's important not to get focused on what you did in that specific moment. It's about, again, these weird little, I guess from a man's perspective, it's these weird little things that just build up over time. Women never forget anything you've ever done to slight them, right? They've got like women have a little book of grudges inside their mind, like a fucking Warhammer dwarf. And if that book of grudges gets too big and you don't fix them, then they'll blow up over seemingly the most mundane of things. So you've got to remember that about women, right? Use that engineering pickup line. Hey baby, what's your cosine? I've not actually heard of that one. Hey Liquid Bismuth, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you, my friend. I'm Rick James, bitch. So I come in there and I say, oh, look, bitch, I'm Rick James. And I smacked her. You know, I've never actually watched Rick James. I only know of that meme from AMV Hell 3 and 4. So I don't actually know what Rick James is about. The worst thing I've done is buy a Hawaiian pizza to Spine Temp. Oh God, yeah. I mean, I'd throw you out the house if you bought me a pineapple pizza, Belgium. My brother, who strongly resembles Ned Flanders, feels like I'm wearing nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Used to believe this line. Come on, love, get your knickers off with work. Get your knickers off. Get your tits out, love. Get your tits out. Get your tits out, love. We've all been on those building sites. I've not been on the building sites. We all know those building sites where you've got the Englishmen. You know, you've got Bazza, Barry, and Azza on the building site. A woman walks by and they're going, "Get your tits out, love. Get your tits out. Get your tits out for the lads. Swing." Don't do that. Don't do that, right? Don't be a child who needs to be told each time what to do, basically. Yeah, exactly. Being a man. The sex education skit from Monty Python's Meaning of Life is a proper British way to do things. God, that was such a fucking weird skit. I didn't think that skit was funny. I didn't think it was bad. But that's a weird skit that went on for too long. And you have to have gone to private school to understand that skit. I mean, I didn't go to private school, so I didn't understand the skit until John Cleese explained it in a documentary as to what the skit was about, right? So yeah, that was a weird one to kind of put into one of their movies. Women are like elephants who never forget. There's actually a little quote I forgot to mention that I've got here. Women are like elephants. They do in fact never forget anything that you've ever done to slight them. We want a man who will remember to do things on his own, not someone we have to monitor all the time. Exactly. Cocaine is a hell of a drug. I wouldn't know. I'm straight edge. I wouldn't know. Every woman would dream to be with Lord Maulington. That's very true, Zero. That's very true. Let me tell you guys right now, okay? I am the sexiest man in VTubing, replacing Vox Akama, who was previously the sexiest man in VTubing. Vox Akama isn't wanted in the West anymore now due to his naughtiness and Niji Sanji. So he's fucked off the Bing Chilling land with on Bilibili. And so I have slid in and replaced him. So because of that, because I am now the sexiest man in VTubing, every man wants to be me, every woman wants to be with me, okay? These are the facts. This is all true. Don't question me. I am the expert. I am the streamer. Okay, I know everything. I am the streamer. I am the god. I control everything. And if I say, as the influencer in charge here, if I say that I am the sexiest man in VTubing, then it's true, okay? So you still single? I am. If that's directed at me, I am, unfortunately. I prefer the term in between girlfriends, right? Women and their book of grudges. Look at look at Kersha. Exactly, the fucking chorus, man. To be fair, Kersha doesn't seem to have that big of expectations. Just be really strong and really stupid, and that seems to be sufficient for her, right? Vox seems like he needs some woman to hold his hand constantly. Yeah, I think Pippa and Lumi, maybe. I think Pippa did a collab with another Face Connect VTuber, and they were talking about how Vox was like prime male because he's very effeminate. It really upsets me when female VTubers like encourage men and like sexualize really effeminate men. It's like stop poisoning the brain of our men. Men should be masculine and manly. They shouldn't be femboys. They shouldn't be effeminate, okay? They should be strong, big, strong, burly men. Stop promoting a new generation of femboys. Kersh's laugh is too adorable. It is. Kersh's got one of my favorite laughs in VTubing. It's so good. Fuck, I love Kersh's laughter. All I want in life, boys, is I want to fall asleep to Lumi singing, and I want to wake up to Kersh's laughter. Is that fucking creepy? Yes. Am I wrong? No. Yeah, don't listen to the VTubers on everything. You should never ever listen to a VTuber on anything, except for me, okay? You should always listen to me because I know I have all the correct opinions, I have all the right answers. I've been calling FaZe Connect domination for a year and a half. No one listened to me. Look at FaZe Connect now, okay? I know everything, all right? I am a genius. I'm a genius. I know everything. Yeah, we already have Slovenia, a nation of femboys. Yeah, of all the countries in the world to have a femboy epidemic, I wouldn't have thought Slovenia would be one of those, but never mind. Not a femboy, just a little, not just a little fruity. Just being a little fruity can be okay sometimes. Every man, even straight men, you have those moments with the homies, right? You have a bit of skin contact with the homies. It's not gay. It's gay if you get uncomfortable having a bit of skin contact with the homies. Another day, another we all will never get into FaZe Connect. Yeah, I'm interested in seeing actually what Sakana does about potentially having a male FaZe Connect wave. If you go back 2 years, he did an interview with Lumi and Yuri, and during that interview, he mentioned that he didn't have any plans for FaZe Connect male wave at that time, because of basically he could quite clearly see there was just no demand for it in the market and it would be more trouble than it's worth. And since then, his attitude has now shifted to, I will never have men in FaZe Connect. I will never have a male division in FaZe Connect. And again, I don't think that's a concrete thing. I think he says that purely because the market right now for male VTubers is still quite shit. But maybe in the next 2 to 3 years, and maybe if we see like a rise in the popularity of more male VTuber waves, maybe we start to see, you know, the debut of Luxium start to happen more and more. We start to see more male VTubers with that kind of popularity, and there's a good business case for it. I reckon the Fishman would actually be open to the idea of having a male FaZe Connect branch, but he would probably give it the HoloLive treatment, the HoloStars treatment, where he'd put them basically in the corner, and he'd basically be like, you know, don't fucking, you know, interact with the woman, and don't flirt with the woman. All right, you can be friends and colleagues, but any inappropriateness, any flirting, and you're out, right? You're fucking, I mean, Sakana wouldn't even need to kill them. The goddamn fan base would kill them, right? We'll build our own FaZe Connect with blackjack and hookers. Hell yeah. Just the short end of the stick everywhere. I think he's too scared if stinky males get in his talents, might start pairing up, then the men will settle and the profits will drop. I think he's just worried about, I think Sakana's just quite clued in on the fact that a lot of people in the FaZe community are very, very attached to their Oshu. And if, God help it, if a sexy Menhera VTuber man started, you know, being on stream and talking to their Oshi, then they would flip the fuck out, right? The sausage party corner, yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? I'd actually like to join FaZe Connect if they had a male wave, and I wouldn't want to join like a male FaZe Connect males to get close to my Oshi and to like be like a colleague to Lumi. I'd actually enjoy being in a FaZe Connect male generation, just to be in that partnership with other like Menhera guys who are FaZe Connect community, who are like FaZe Connect material, because I think that'd be a lot of fun, right? I think there's a good opportunity there for FaZe Connect style male VTubers to really create waves in the VTubing sphere, especially the male VTubing sphere. I think the optimum FaZe Connect male wave experience would be basically early, kind of like 2010 Rooster Teeth, right? The Let's Play things when they were doing like the Worms collabs, the Grand Theft Auto 5 collabs, you know, just a bunch of toxic, you know, loudmouth shit posting dudes being, you know, loud toxic shit posting dudes and being just complete unapologetic menaces and being really fucking edgy, right? And saying spicy shit that will make Reddit and Twitter, you know, go crazy. That would, I think there would be massive demand for that market and male VTubers. If FaZe Connect can secure a male wave of basically early Rooster Teeth light, that's the winning formula, I think, for any male VTuber wave, personally, for corporate VTubers. Or John Tron era Game Grumps, exactly, Lion, perfect example there. John Tron era Game Grumps, Zach and Chris, you know, Only Plays, Ding Dong and Julian, you know, those kinds of people. Yeah, exactly, Smiths, exactly. Only Plays of their VTubers. Rooster Teeth, John Tron, Game Grumps, only plays. That is peak male VTuber recipe for success right there. And FaZe Connect culturally is the perfect fit, right, to get a group of men together who can accomplish that kind of thing. But what they would need is they would need a very strong-willed leader in that male VTuber wave who can encourage the others to, you know, follow and pursue that dream. You'll need a leader who can put a lot of work in, and you'll need a team of guys who are willing to do that kind of group collab content on the regular, you know, stuff like Minecraft challenges, and, you know, like, you know, playing stuff like Killing Floor 2 together and competitive games, right? Rooster Teeth, but pre-Ruby. Yeah, basically pre-Ruby. I think the Ruby period, funnily enough, is when Rooster Teeth went downhill. Let's Play and the boys Let's Play kind of died in 2012, I think. Anyway, let's get back onto Peter Pipkin soon. And let's get back. I fucking miss Ray actually on the context of Let's Play. Bloody love Ray. Anyway, let's get back on with women. Where was I? Okay, so the next point I want to get on about is so where do I find the woman? How are we gonna meet women? Imagine Psychic Pebbles are only joining FaZe. That'd be incredible. So where do I meet women? Personally, I wouldn't recommend dating apps like Tinder or whatever the fuck else people are using these days. I think these social media apps, they encourage flings, they encourage one-night stands, and just general disposability. And there's also the psychological aspects of using these apps, that if you have to use a dating app, then you're an undesirable male who isn't worth much anyway. I think dating apps, you know, like your Tinders and whatnot, encourage disposability on both sides of the equation. Men use it to just get quick, easy sex, and women use it to get quick, easy sex, or to get like a meal ticket, right? So, one thing I'd recommend if you can to get a girlfriend is networking through family and friend connections, making real physical connections with people in person, rather than excessive, you know, internet chatting, you know, like fucking cybering and sexting people on Facebook, God help you, or other shit like that. So like, for example, your aunt, your uncles, your distant relatives, whatever, might have a friend who has like a single daughter, for example. And if they've got like a single daughter, you know, see if she's cute, maybe you could make a connection with her. I've had a lot of success with, you know, dating like friends of the family. Well, not friends of the family, well, daughters of the friends of the family, basically, is where I've often had the most success. There's also the possibility where you could try to find a woman over some kind of shared hobby, particularly if you really want, you know, that gamer anime girlfriend. Having the girlfriend who likes anime and gaming is the dream. That's the ideal. That's the kind of girlfriend I personally like. But the problem is that in all my life, I've only ever known 2 women, of like the thousands of women I've met in my life or whatever. I've only ever known 2 women who like anime and or gaming. So yeah, maybe you might have to be realistic and yeah, trying to be picky to the point where you're like anime gamer girl or bust. You might be cursed to be alone forever if you draw a line there, right? But then again, at the same time, it's quite easy to find a woman who likes gaming or just anime, potentially. But then the problem is as well is that I don't want a degenerate who just, you know, talks about gaming and anime. I also have like physical hobbies. I like going outside a lot. I like combat sports, you know. I like that kind of thing. So finding a woman who simultaneously likes anime gaming and also doing strenuous outdoor activities like hiking or, you know, running, jogging, lifting, combat sports, exercise, that's basically an impossibility. I've never seen a woman hit all those notes. So you have to compromise, right? You have to compromise. You have to find what's good enough, potentially. And I guess if you are looking for a specific kind of woman, you're looking for the gamer anime girlfriend, then there's stuff you can do to kind of narrow down, you know, the pool of women available and increase your chances of finding such a woman. So, you know, you can go to your local anime kind of manga club. You're never too old to go to these kinds of clubs. they tend to be in school and college a lot, right? But people even do it, you know, they do it in conventions. You go find a girlfriend at a convention, and yeah, there's always like lonely people just forming these weird little groups in any neighborhood, right? Or you can, you know, these groups can be in your neighborhood, or they might be a respectable distance to commute away. I wouldn't personally recommend hitting women up at the gym or some kind of combat sports place either, by the way. I'd say the gym and like a combat sports gym or whatever, it's not an appropriate time to be pulling women. People are there for a specific purpose. They're there to work out, you know, they're there to get on and do something, learn something. You know, it's awkward when you try to force a relationship in that kind of environment. Leave those people alone and let them just get on and do their stuff, right? Particularly if you're both regulars, it's really uncomfortable now because you're that weird guy who's like in the corner and that's kind of into them, and you know, it just creates this whole awkward scenario you don't want to be in. But if you're picky and you want someone who shares your hobbies, then it makes sense, right, to go to some form of social event where essentially you're most likely to meet such a person. Actually, let me get caught up with chat that as well. Internet chatting is the only way I find anyone even remotely interesting. That can kind of be the issue is these days. I think social media has been the single worst thing to ever happen to human civilization, because although you meet a lot of interesting people and you can have a lot of interesting conversations on the internet, the problem is that people genuinely forget and become unable to properly, you know, communicate with each other, basically, and that leads to all sorts of problems. All sorts of problems with not just body language, but the things they're saying as well. All my women friends only have male friends. That's a bit different, Hassam. I know every woman like has that one friend, that one male friend who's very clearly into her, but the poor guy, God bless him, is such a simp and does all the wrong things that it just kind of like he's the friend zone doesn't exist, right? The friend zone fundamentally does not exist. The friend zone is basically the unattraction zone. It could potentially be the creep zone, right? It's a I am not interested in you zone, right? No woman genuinely would refuse to date you and be in a relationship with you because she sees you as more of a friend. That's like a cope. That's a lie. She says to try and not let you down so hard. Hot take: dating apps are designed to be shit on purpose, so you end up using them even longer, especially when they have premium subscription service. Yeah, that's not a hot take at all, Ninja Muffin. That's how they make their money, right? If dating apps actually did their job and connected people and helped them find loving, long-lasting relationships, then there'd be no reason to use that app anymore. Not even use it, let alone pay for a premium subscription service. So they are deliberately designed for hookup culture, and are deliberately designed for you to go through and treat other people as disposable objects in a fucking Argos catalog. You don't have Argos in the United States, are you? What would be, Astasha, help me out here. What's the closest thing to an Argos catalog an Americans would have? Do you guys have a general purpose shop in the United States? So you've got a whole catalog full of products, and then each one has an item number, and then you call the shop up and you say, yeah, I would like to buy item number whatever from this catalog. Do you Americans have something like that? Or get with the Filipina aunties, they will hook you up. Oh, I've never been to the Philippines. I'd like to go there sometime. Otaku neat women stay inside all day, it turns out. Yeah, this is a problem for both men and women. Guys, you need to get outside and actually see other people in order to get a relationship, okay? Unfortunately, no matter how much we want it, okay, no matter how much we may desire it, the cute cat girl who's going to lick your balls and call you Goshijin Sama isn't going to just suddenly materialize in your room. You have to go out and find her, all right? You have to go out and find that unicorn. She's not going to just appear in your room, I'm afraid. No clue if Americans have something like that. My knowledge of America is very small. That's a shame. We used to have those, but kind of died out. Oh, okay. Kmart and Sears used to do that still into the early 90s. Yeah, I heard about Kmart and Sears, actually, Icon of Sin. I heard about Kmart in one of the Resident Evil movies, and I know about Sears because I know Mo Sislak mentions the Sears catalog in one of the Simpsons episode. I have a hot date tonight. Our dates, dinner with friends, dinner alone. All right, I'm gonna oogle at the ladies in the Victoria's Secret catalog. Sears catalog. I don't deserve this kind of shabby treatment. Good old classic Simpsons. I have many Filipina aunties. No luck so far with them setting up. Oh, you need to get on them, Felix. You need to get on them. You need to get on their case. You need to get them to get you a girlfriend. Or boyfriend, I guess. The Sears catalogue was great back in the day. I'm gonna have to actually Google and have a look through a Sears catalogue later. Ace Hardware has a catalogue. Oh, okay, hardware store. We don't really have many hardware stores really in the UK anymore. My demon summoning circle says otherwise. No. Com. The demon summoning circle is for summoning IT people and software developers. You've got it all wrong. If you want IT tech support or you want a software developer, that's when you use a demon summoning circle. If you want to summon a woman, then what you need is a nice pair of Gucci shoes, Louis Vuittons or something. That's how you summon a woman. I must be the weird one. Been interneting since IRC. Oh my god, IRC PBS days. You are old, and I didn't really have an opportunity to exchange details with anyone like that. At least I can remember. They used to rip Sears and Kmart. They used to have gun catalogs. America used to be a nation. Back in my day, I remember being a small kid and going to America in the late 90s. And I remember I was able to just like walk up to like an aisle in Walmart and there'd be like just shotguns and rifles just on the shelf, right? Unloaded. But I remember like picking up like just fucking like AR-15 on the shelf. And like the shop owner was just watching me and he was just smiling, right? He thought it was funny that this little fat British kid was playing with his like empty rifle. And sadly, you're not like that anymore. Fucking too many people have spoiled it, sadly. Back in the good old days where you could just handle the merchandise and play with an empty rifle when you were like 4. I wonder if Lucy had something to do with the decline of hardware stores in the UK. Almost certainly, I reckon. I think the problem is as well, the British, the people of the United Kingdom, we just aren't a very hardware oriented people as well. We don't really like doing stuff ourselves. We always just get the Polish tradesmen to come in and do all our jobs for us because they work for like £2.50 and a rich tea biscuit an hour, right? They're really cheap. Whereas and they're really quick as well, right? Polish tradesmen, extremely quick, extremely high quality work, extremely cheap. They basically work on rich tea biscuits. Whereas the English tradesman never fucking turns up, fucking useless, low quality goods, low quality service, disgustingly overpriced. Aren't I right, GD, if you're still here? British tradesman, fucking useless. Polish tradesman, based. Now we hardly ever talk online. Yeah, that's the problem. You see, that's the problem with having internet relationships. If you met in person more, you'd have a stronger connection. So where was I? Yeah, I was on about the social stuff. So one thing I'll say about like talking to women and rejection. The fear of rejection, it's always the most difficult part of getting a girlfriend. Once you've got a girlfriend, retention of girlfriend is normally the easiest part, in my opinion. The most difficult part is that initial having the courage to talk to a woman and getting over the fear of rejection. And actually starting a conversation with women and facing the potential for rejection. My advice would be to not overthink things too much and not get your hopes up too much. Maybe try disassociating yourself from the situation if you can. I tend to do that sometimes, just disassociate myself from the situation and kind of like having an immediate coping mechanism where you just assume that the rejection is coming unless it isn't, right? That's how I tend to deal with like the initial walk up nerves. But there's stuff you can do beforehand, I think, to build up the confidence. It's about respect and love for yourself. If you're happy in yourself, then you'll feel more confident about, approaching a woman because you'll be thinking, yeah, I've got a decent chance. I'm not that bad of a guy. Yeah, I've got a pretty good chance of securing a woman. And the important thing to remember as well is that some women don't want to be approached. They aren't, looking for a relationship at that current time. And maybe they don't want you in particular. Again, it comes down to preferences. And rejection, it is going to happen, and it's probably going to happen a lot. But some women, as long as you aren't being creepy about it, eventually you will find some success when you shoot your shot enough times. And again, it's just like going for a job interview. As you speak to women more and more, and you try to, you know, pick one up and form a connection with them, you get better at it, right? You start to understand women more. You understand how the game's played, and you know, you just generally build up confidence talking to women. And as long as you're not walking up to a woman, and you know, you're not walking up to a woman and you're not being creepy, you're not like, "Hello, my baby darling. I smelled you across from the room and decided that you would make a fine addition to my collection in my basement. Baby girl, I love you." As long as you're not like a fucking creepy basement dweller guy kind of like that, you will hit it eventually, like Boomhauer says. Maybe 20% of the time, but 20% of the time, that's 20% yes, and that's better than 0% yes, right? And you'll get 0% yes if you never ask a woman out in the first place. And when you are speaking to a woman, I would say don't come across too hard either. Rather than use cheesy pickup lines or just go straight for the prize, right? Just make it really fucking obvious what you're after, and you know, make it look like you want it now. You can take it slow, and you can just take time to get to know the person first, right? Being able to small talk about relatable hobbies is great. It makes things much easier, right? If you say you're into anime or whatever, you know, then go into your local library, you know, your book club is good, because you can then ask less personal questions to get things going. You know, it's like, "Hey, my name's Maulington. What's your name? So, you know, what kind of anime do you like? What's your favorite manga? What's your favorite anime?" That's, you know, asking those kinds of questions to get to know someone is much easier than, say, you know, going to a bar and asking a woman, you know, "Can I buy you a drink?" Right? How do you follow up from those kinds of conversations? It's much more difficult. And again, when you're speaking to a woman over common hobbies, over common interests, you tend to nerd out over your hobbies, right? Like I always passionately talk about VTubers to anyone and everyone. I always do it to you here in the chat. I make videos about it. And what happens is that it's easy to build a connection that way, because you talk passionately about something. Maybe the woman, the potential partner, has the same opinions as you. She really likes it as well. Now she's getting really worked up as you get worked up about your hobby. Before you know it, right, you've got a good connection going on. You're forming a strong bond that eventually leads to some kind of relationship. It puts the lotion on its skin, or else it gets the hose again. Put the lotion in the basket. Put the fucking lotion in the basket. Let me out, mister. God, what a movie that was. I fucking love Silence of the Lambs. Oh God, God bless that. Anthony fucking what's his face has been like an 80-year-old man for 50 years. God bless him. I love that man. He's got such a cool voice. Good morning. Now you fly away, Clarice. Fly, fly, fly. I ate her liver with a nice Chianti, with fava beans and a nice Chianti. Put the lotion in the basket. It puts the lotion in the skin. It puts the lotion on its skin. It does this whenever it's told. God, I'd love to see a VTuber who is basically that guy, right? Would that be fucking funny? Just a VTuber who's like constantly role playing as like some kind of kidnapping serial killer who taxidermies women. Hey, that's a great idea actually for an alternate character. Hell yeah. Might do that at some point when I've made the money. Unfortunately, I've just spent a fortune on this model. I don't have enough money for another model at the moment. Buffalo Bill VTuber, that's his name, yeah. Buffalo Bill VTuber. Oh wait, was she a great big fat person? We need the Lord script reading Silence of the Lambs. Hey, that's a great idea actually, Guy. I might actually do that. Yeah, that sounds fun. What else does Hannibal Lecter say? What other iconic lines does Hannibal Lecter say in his movies? He's like, Agent Starling, do you know what you show me with your nice bag and your cheap shoes? You look like a rube. I didn't know what the fuck a rube meant. What else does he say? Oh no, I don't know. You know what? I'll go back and look that up later. We'll do Silence of the Lambs script reading. That should be good fun. trying to do an impression of him. But yeah, that's basically everything I had to say on today's stream. Hopefully we just had like a little fun session talking about women and why the way they are. I don't know, maybe if some of you are maybe not so lucky in love, maybe you've picked up on some things that maybe might help you find a woman. Otherwise, I hope you've just it's just been some fun and entertainment for tonight. I just love yapping about stupid shit. That's always good fun. Serial killer, prepared to get deluged in letters by women. Yeah, why do women get so attracted? I guess I can't complain, right? Because men like mentally ill women. Women are sexually attracted to handsome serial killers, right? I don't know. Women just like being choked, I guess, apparently. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, Senator, one more thing. Love your suit. Tell me about Miss West Virginia. Was she a heavy lady? Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you very much for tuning in for today's stream. So I guess we'll leave it here. I'll see if let's see who is there to raid. Who we got? Who we got? What do you got? Fuck, why are my subscribers showing up? Come on, sub shop. What the hell's going on? Can't see my goddamn subscribers. Oh, here we go. Moo Penumbra. Oh, we've got Kara streaming. I'll go and raid my good buddy Kara. And thank you very much for tuning into today's stream, guys. I had an awful lot of fun. Thank you very much for re-upping the membership line. Thank you very much for the membership. Thank you very much for the membership payflow, my friends. And yeah, I'm going to do a stream Friday. I'm not sure what I'm going to stream on. I'm thinking I'm going to start making a dent in a game, and I'm going to start making a dent in Homeworld Remastered. I've never played those games before. You guys might know I absolutely love RTS games, so I'm really looking forward to playing that game. Never played it before, so it'll be my first experience of it, so that should be good fun. Let's see. Kara, where is Kara? Kara. Here we go. Okay, cool. Yep, and yeah, that's it for me tonight, guys. Take care. Have a good evening. Hope you enjoy your day, and yeah, bye bye.